Chapter 2030. Xiaoping opened his eyes and looked at his surroundings. He felt lucky. Fortunately, he usually chose seclusion places in the mountain river pearl space that were sparsely populated. Otherwise, just this power alone would be enough to destroy all the buildings around him. He could sense that the volcanoes around him were erupting dark golden flames that contained terrifying deviant flame power. Ordinary creatures would be burned to ashes if they approached. The temperature in the depths of the volcanoes was close to the temperature of a star. Ordinary substances would be vaporized. Moreover, it wouldn't be a problem for these volcanoes to exist for millions of years. This feeling. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He sensed that after awakening 50 million golden crow hell cells, the blood in the depths of his body had undergone an incredible change. He actually sensed a trace of immortality. Under his divine sense, the necrotic cells in the depths of his body had an aura of continuous rebirth. It vaguely possessed the magical ability of the golden crow hell to be reborn in the flames. Could it be that when 1 billion golden crow hell cells awaken in my body, I will have an immortal body? Xiaoping felt that when his golden crow hell cells reached a certain number, he would probably have an immortal body even if he didn't advance to the sage realm. Perhaps this was the golden crow hell's innate magical ability. Even though he only had 550 million golden crow hell cells, his body already contained a trace of immortality. It was as if he was transforming into a mythical creature's physique. If I can have an immortal body, I might be able to fight against an immortal sage as a lightning tribulation realm. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and was tempted. To be honest, the reason why an immortal sage was countless times stronger than a lightning tribulation realm expert was not only because of their dense magic power, but also because they had an immortal body. It was precisely because sages couldn't be killed no matter what. Even Star Destroyer cannons couldn't destroy them. They could be reborn even if they had a single cell left. That was why they were so terrifying. No matter how many lightning tribulation realm experts there were, they couldn't kill a sage. However, a sage could easily slaughter a group of lightning tribulation realm experts. But if he also had an immortal body, then it might not be impossible for him to fight against an immortal sage. Walala, as Xiaoping's magic power and power continued to rise, his divine sense power also increased bit by bit. His spirit seemed to have entered the sea of bitterness again. He could sense that his body in the sea of bitterness seemed to be a little stronger. The first half of the sea of bitterness could no longer stop him, and the surrounding seawater could not stop him from moving forward. The aura of the lightning tribulation in the depths of the void seemed to have become even more intense. This action had triggered a backlash from the universe's origin, as if the lightning tribulation would descend at any moment. However, this tribulation aura hadn't reached its peak yet. It was still gathering, so it didn't descend. Once the aura of the tribulation filled up the whirlpool, it would be time for the lightning tribulation to descend. He carefully estimated that there were about 3 months left. What is this? Suddenly, Xiaoping's soul shuddered. He felt the river of destiny tremble. The water surged as a mysterious message entered the depths of his soul. At once, mysterious images appeared in his sea of consciousness. A girl was constantly running for her life. Her face was filled with terror and despair, but there was a hint of determination in the depths of her beautiful eyes. There seemed to be a terrifying figure chasing after her. That terrifying figure emitted a dark, cursed, and evil aura. It was like a demon from the abyss, surrounded by countless vengeful spirits. Clearly, its hands were stained with the blood of countless lives. This figure's aura shocked Xiaoping, because the other party was an immortal saint. Even so, every time she was in a desperate situation, she could always escape at the crucial moment when she was being chased by a saint. However, after running for a long time, she was a little exhausted. It was unknown how long she could last. In an instant, the immortal saint seemed to sense something, and a pair of emotionless eyes looked over. Dong! In the next second, Xiaoping's spirit shuddered, and the images shattered like glass. In an instant, his spirit broke away from these images. A cold glint flashed in his eyes, because he knew this girl. She was the soul race's saintess, Lu Rulon. He had met her once in the Blood Soul mainland. They had even carried out soul dual cultivation and cultivated the telepathic heart technique. Their relationship was not shallow. System, what's going on with these images in my mind? Xiaoping asked. This is a lightning tribulation realm cultivator's sudden inspiration. The system replied. Cultivators who have reached this realm will enter the river of fate. They will be able to see a trace of their own fate. At this time, they will be able to sense some dangers in the future. This is the realm of the cicada's foresight before the autumn wind blows. Some Thunder Retribution realm experts can rely on this power to deduce fate to avoid countless threats. Some living beings with extremely powerful souls can rely on some special abilities and methods to see some fragments of the future through the river of destiny to seek fortune and avoid calamity. You can see the future? Xiaoping was shocked. There was actually such a method. Of course, this might not be the real future. It's just a deduction of destiny power and some fragments that might happen. After all, the future has countless possibilities and branches. It's not impossible for some accidents to happen, the system said. In other words, these fragments that suddenly appeared in my mind might be something that will happen in the future. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. It might happen in the future, or it might happen in the present. Because the host once cultivated the telepathic heart technique with this woman, there is a deep connection between their souls. In times of danger and despair, the other party might also send you a distress signal. The system indicated that this was the mystery of the soul. Sometimes it could ignore the distance between them and transmit information. Distress signal? Xiaoping nodded. He felt that this was very possible. From these images, he could also sense Lu Rulon's strong distress signal. However, the enemy was a sage, which was no small matter. Host, what do you plan to do? The enemy is a sage. The system asked. Do you even need to ask? Of course, I'm going to meet him. It's a good opportunity to see the power of a sage. Xiaoping rubbed his chin. If it was before, you would not seek death like this. However, Dumbo had advanced to the sage realm, and he was also a lightning tribulation realm powerhouse. He had countless treasures and trump cards. Even if he could not defeat the immortal sage, he would not die. He was prepared for anything. However, Lu Rulon's location is not shown in the images. Seems like I still need to use the wish compass to find her. Chapter 2031. A day later, Xiaoping found Lu Rulon's location through the wish compass. She happened to be in the Central Universe's ordinary zone, not far from where he was in seclusion. Perhaps that was the reason he sensed it. Interesting, this world seems to be hidden by someone on purpose. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and steered the stars closer to the world indicated by the wish compass. Soon he found out that the world was hidden deep in the void. Layers of restrictive formations were set up around it, making one's scalp tingle. It was as if there were war fortresses set up nearby. Anyone who got a little closer would be turned into a hornet's nest. The world was hidden in the void. If not for the wish compass's indication, he would not have discovered this unique world hidden in the nearby dimension. Without a doubt, this world was not registered and was deliberately hidden by a saint. In other words, this world seemed to be worth the saints spending so much effort to do such a thing. However, Lu Rulon appeared in this world. Why exactly? Could it be the Blood Soul Saint's lair? Xiaoping suddenly recalled his experience in the Blood Soul mainland. The reason Lu Rulon left back then was because she was teleported away by a restrictive formation in the Blood Soul mainland. That was the Blood Soul Saint's backup plan. Now, it seemed like Lu Rulon was probably teleported to this place. However, it was obvious that the Blood Soul Saint's backup plan was also a little troublesome, causing Lu Rulon to be in such a crisis. Corinne, do you know how we can enter this world without being discovered? Xiaoping asked Corinne. He felt that if he forced his way in, he would definitely be discovered by the saint guarding this world. He had yet to find Lu Rulon, so it was not suitable for him to have a conflict with the saint of this world for now. Most importantly, only by knowing oneself and one's enemy could one emerge victorious. He had to figure out the trump card of this place to have a certain chance of winning. Otherwise, he would not even know how he died. Of course, no problem. You're underestimating the current stars, Corinne said proudly. Corinne said proudly, don't look at how this world is full of restrictive arrays, but as a middle-grade Sage-level spaceship, myriad stars can completely disguise its appearance and aura, turning into a meteorite and falling into this world. This way, it can ensure that the sages of this world won't discover anything. Xiaoping nodded. He also saw that although this world was hidden deep in the void, a large number of meteorites would be attracted and fall into this world from time to time. This was a very normal astronomical phenomenon. If the stars entered this world disguised as a meteorite, the saint who controlled this world would not notice anything fishy. After all, the saint could not monitor this world all the time, and he did not have that much energy. Whoosh! Thinking of this, under Corinne's control, the myriad stars immediately transformed into a gray meteorite and slowly flew toward this mysterious and special world. Whoosh! In the next second, the stars easily entered this world. Ripples appeared in the surrounding void, but the restriction formations did not react at all, as if they thought it was an ordinary meteorite that had fallen in. Just like that, Xiaoping entered this world. Qinghai Realm. This was a world that was 80% composed of ocean. The seawater was cyan and extremely beautiful. There was only one piece of land in the middle of the world. The rest were islands that dotted this world like stars. This continent was also known as the Azure Sea continent. Countless creatures lived on this continent. At this moment, in the northeast corner of the Azure Sea continent, there was a boundless primeval forest. It was surrounded by dense trees, and the green trees gave off a wild and ancient aura. A group of people was flying in the air. Their clothes were tattered, and they looked nervous and defeated. Obviously, they were fleeing. The group was led by a man and a woman, and the rest seemed to be their subordinates and servants. Bastards, our soul race has been almost wiped out by those great demons. Why are they still not letting us go? One of the women in red gritted her teeth. Even if we hide in the deep mountains and forests, even if we hide in the depths of the ocean, even if we hide in the countryside, we will still be found and killed by them. At this point, we are just a weak race. Even if we count the number of people in our race, there are only 2 or 3 kittens left. We are not a threat at all. Why are they still chasing us? She was very unwilling. After fleeing for so many days, her mind was exhausted, and she could not hold on any longer. There is no other way. Beside her, a man in purple shook his head. The killing cursed demon saint personally gave the order to wipe out our soul race. How could the great demons under it let us go? Naturally, they risked their lives to kill us, complete the mission, and get the credit. Damn it, it's all that outsider Lou Rouland's fault. The woman in red gritted her teeth, and her face was full of anger. If this fellow did not suddenly come to our Azure Sea continent, we would still be living peacefully with these demons. However, when she came, she activated the Soul Hall's inheritance and attracted the killing cursed demon saint's attention. Our soul race was unlucky. The entire race was captured and died because of her. She hated Lou Rouland to the extreme, and her eyes were filled with hatred. If it was not for the outsider Lou Rouland's appearance, they would not have to live such a life of fleeing. It was a life worse than death. Young mistress, you can't blame young Mistress Lou. At this time, a blue-clothed maid said charmingly, before Miss Lou came, our soul race was under the control of these demons. We lived like livestock and were raised. Every day, some of our clansmen would be eaten by them. If it was not for those bad guys wanting to find out the secrets of this Azure Sea continent, they would have slaughtered us all long ago. Now they're just bringing this matter forward. She felt that this matter should not be blamed on others. The enemies should be the demons. Instead of hating the demons who killed their tribesmen, they focused all their hatred on their own people. She cannot understand it all. Shut up, you bitch. With a slap, the red-robed woman sent the blue-robed maid flying. A red palm print appeared on the maid's face, and a ruthless look appeared in her eyes. You're actually speaking up for that bitch? If it weren't for her, how could our soul race have fallen to such a state? Without her, Fong Xian, would still be the princess of the Soul Tribe, living a life of luxury. Now, I'm like a stray dog, worse than a pig or a dog. I know that the demons have been chasing you all this time to capture you and find Lu Rulan's whereabouts. Back then, you were that bitch's maid. You were like a sister. Do you think I don't know about this? If that's the case, then why didn't Lady Lu hand me over? Wouldn't that stop the chase? Chapter 2032. The red-dressed woman, Fong Xian, was infuriated because the blue-dressed maidservant's words had hit her soft spot. If handing over the maidservant could stop the demon's pursuit, she would have handed the maidservant over a long time ago. Why would she wait until now? The problem was that the demons were unreasonable. They would not know who had a good relationship with Lu Rulan and who had a bad relationship with her. It was meaningless to them. They only needed to do one thing, and that was to complete the mission and capture all of them alive to obtain the killing demon sage's reward. The so-called negotiation was when both parties had trump cards and were of equal strength. Only then could they negotiate. Without strength, why would others negotiate with you? This was the current situation. Even if she handed over the maidservant, the demons would not stop hunting them down. Since they would not be able to live even if they handed over the maidservant, there was no doubt that they would do it. Most importantly, they had pinned their hopes on Lu Rulan. She was the one who had activated the Soul Clan's temple and had escaped from the killing demon sage several times. Her ability was not to be underestimated. Perhaps it was not Lu Rulan's own power, but she must have grasped some secrets about this world. That was why she could escape death so many times. Therefore, they had kept the maidservant by their side, hoping to find an opportunity to form a connection with Lu Rulan through the maidservant. They hoped that Lu Rulan would protect them. However, now that their intentions were exposed by the maidservant in blue, the lady in red, Fong Xian was enraged. She wanted to slap the maidservant again. She was just a lowly maidservant, yet she dared to speak to her master like that. She must have a death wish. Enough! Before Fong Xian could make a move, the man in purple next to her stopped her. He was Fong Xian's brother, Fong Yang. He was also the young master of the Soul Clan and the leader of the group. He said in a deep voice, "There are only a few of us left in the Soul Clan. We can't fight among ourselves. Are you trying to attract the demon's attention by starting a fight here? That's a nice way of putting it. Won't we attract the demon's attention if we don't start a fight? We're already being watched. We can't escape even if we run to the ends of the earth." The lady in red, Fong Xian, said angrily, "We have no choice. Looks like we can only go to the blood mist forbidden land now." The man in purple, Fong Yang, said in a low voice, "What?" Hearing this, the woman in red and the others were shocked. Blood mist forbidden land? This was a famous forbidden land in the Azure Sea realm. There were countless legends about it, and it was known as the Land of Death. Some people said that the Forbidden Land contained the ultimate secrets of the Spiritas, and that obtaining it would allow one to live forever. That place was vast and boundless. It seemed to cover the ends of this world. The space inside was folded and filled with bloody fog all day long. No one could see clearly what was inside. Throughout history, countless ancestors of the soul race had entered the blood mist forbidden land one after another. However, these people had all disappeared. Almost no one had been able to leave the blood mist forbidden land. No one knew whether they were dead or alive. Not even their corpses had been found. In fact, it wasn't just the Spiritas who had entered. Tens of thousands of years ago, the demons had descended from the sky and occupied the Azure Sea realm. They had also discovered the blood mist forbidden land. They were immediately wild with joy, immediately entering the blood mist restricted land. However, they also disappeared, not a single one coming out. Even the death-cursing demon sage had explored the blood mist forbidden land, but it didn't go in. It only stood outside with a frown, pacing back and forth for a long time. It was as if it didn't dare to go in, as if there was a great secret inside. One could imagine how dangerous the blood mist forbidden land was. It was a place that even saints were afraid of. But now, Fong Yang wanted to go to the blood mist forbidden land. Wasn't he courting death? "Brother, you're crazy. You're going to the blood mist forbidden land. Don't take us with you if you want to die." The woman in red, Fong Xian, was furious. I'm not crazy. This is a chance for us to survive. Fong Yang coldly said, we've been implanted with cursed power and tracking talismans. Even if we hide at the ends of the Azure Sea realm, those demons will still catch up and kill us. The only reason they haven't killed us yet is because they're treating this as a game. Maybe they want to lure Lu Rulan out and see if she'll come out to save us. That's why we can't continue like this. If we keep running, we'll die. It's better to enter the blood mist forbidden land. That way, we'll be able to escape. This, Fong Xian and the rest fell silent. They didn't know what to say. Of course, I'm not really going there to die. Fong Yang's eyes lit up. I've read from the records of the ancestors of the Soul Tribe that the blood mist forbidden land might be an important inheritance left behind by our ancestor. The ancestors entered it one after another, hoping to obtain the inheritance. Since they didn't come out, it might not mean that they're dead. Instead, they might have been sent to another world. What? Brother, there's such a secret? Why didn't I know about it? Fong Xian and the rest were shocked. It's normal that you don't know about it. After all, this is a secret that only the clan leader knows. If I hadn't accepted the position of clan leader in the face of danger, I wouldn't have found out about it from the clan leader. Fong Yang said in a low voice. If that's the case, why didn't the clan leader announce this and let us take refuge in the blood mist forbidden land? Someone asked in confusion. Sai, this is just a guess, a beautiful guess. After all, if that group of people doesn't come out, they might really be dead. The place is purely a dangerous place. Fong Yang said, so in order to prevent many clansmen from dying in the blood mist forbidden land, the clan leader concealed this guess. There's no need to cause panic in the clan. But it's different now. We're being chased until we have nowhere to go. Only by entering the blood mist forbidden land will we have a chance of survival. Since we're going to die anyway, we might as well find an opportunity. We have no other way. Young clan leader is right. Rather than being killed by those monsters, it's better to enter the blood mist forbidden land and fight for a chance of survival. Fortune comes from danger. Whether we live or die depends on this. Many members of the Soul Tribe nodded. They agreed with Fong Yang's opinion. They would die wherever they went, so they might as well go to the blood mist forbidden land to find a chance of survival. If that place was really the Soul Tribe's inheritance land, then they could survive. Boom! At this moment, an air-piercing sound came from the sky. A meteorite fell from the sky with terrifying power. Oh no, there's a meteorite. Hide! The group of people cried out in panic. Fong Yang and the rest reacted quickly and quickly left. Dong! Immediately, the meteorite fell, smashing a deep pit, and dense cracks appeared around it. What's this? Fong Yang and the rest looked over. When the smoke and dust dispersed, a figure walked out of the deep pit. The meteorite that fell from the sky had disappeared without a trace. Chapter 2033. Just as Xia Ping arrived at the Azure Sea realm, a black spaceship was flying in the sky tens of thousands of miles away from the landing site. The spaceship was engraved with a black skull pattern, emitting an eerie aura of death. This was the Azure Sea realm's terrifying Cursed Legion. This was the most elite force under the Cursed Demon Saint. The monsters that could enter this force were at least at the Transcendence realm, and there were even quite a few Thunder Tribulation realm monsters. There were hundreds of great monsters inside the spaceship, among which there were 60 to 70 Transcendence realm great monsters and 30 Thunder Tribulation realm monster kings. Captain, we've found the remnants of the soul race. A monster with a crow's head and a pair of black wings spoke expressionlessly. He had used a secret technique to find the remnants of the soul race. Oh, where are they? It's really hard for them to escape. We've surrounded them a few times, but they still managed to escape. A monster king with a lion's head and a human's body said in a low voice. They're in a primeval forest tens of thousands of miles ahead. That place is close to the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. I'm afraid they want to enter the Blood Mist Forbidden Land to escape our pursuit. The monster said, What? They're quite bold to dare enter the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. Don't they know how terrifying the Blood Mist Forbidden Land is? Those who enter never come out. Even the cursed demon, Saint, is extremely afraid of that place and doesn't dare to enter easily. They're probably going all out. They know they can't escape, so they want to enter the blood mist forbidden land and fight to the death. If they succeed, they'll be able to live. They have quite a few tricks up their sleeves. In that case, we can't let them succeed easily. Otherwise, they'll really enter the blood mist forbidden land safely. That'll be terrible. You're right. We have to cut off their hopes. We won't give them any chance at all. Don't worry, they won't be able to escape. The strongest is only at the Transcendence realm. How can they stop us? But what's the use of capturing the remnants of the soul race? They're just natives of the Azure Sea realm. That's not the way to put it. The soul race is a race left behind by the once famous Blood Soul Saint. They were born with powerful souls and were famous throughout the universe. Unfortunately, the Blood Soul Saint fell and the entire race declined. That's right. This time, Master is going all out to obtain the inheritance of the Blood Soul Saint. He has to capture Lu Rulon. This is related to whether Master will have a great opportunity to improve further. It's extremely important. That is indeed the case. If we can obtain the legacy of the famous Blood Soul Saint, I'm afraid that Master's cursing sage will improve further, reaching an unimaginable level. Naturally, our status will rise as well. Many demon kings discussed with a casual attitude. They completely treated this as a game of hunting and killing, and there was no challenge at all. After all, they were much stronger than the remnants of the soul race. Let alone an entire legion. Even a third of the legion was enough to annihilate the remnants dozens of times over. All right, don't be careless. This is Master's arrangement. We must handle this matter properly and not make any mistakes. If we are truly careless and allow those Soul Clan remnants to escape, both of us will suffer Master's wrath. The lion-headed demon king warned. Yes, Captain. Many of the demon kings were shocked. Recalling the rage of their master's cursing sage, they felt a chill run down their spines. If they offended the cursing sage, it would be a fate worse than death. It could be said that the cursing sage's reputation was even more terrifying than many other demon sages. This was because it had mastered the art of cursing and could often curse its enemies to death from thousands of miles away. It was invisible and unstoppable. Let's go. This time, we must finish this battle in one fell swoop. We must not let these remnants escape. The lion-headed demon king gave the order. Whoosh! The black spaceship immediately sped up and chased after Fong Xian and the others. In another place, Xiaoping had just landed in Qinghai realm and immediately kept the spaceship to prevent his identity from being exposed. Before he found Lu Rulon, he did not want to cause any unnecessary trouble. They seem to be from the soul race. Walking out of the hole, he immediately found Fong Xian and the others beside him. He could sense that these people's aura were not human, but from the soul race, which was similar to Lu Rulon's aura. They should be the natives of this world. Ask them what's going on in this world. Xiaoping's heart skipped a beat, and he immediately walked over. However, this action made Fong Xian and the others nervous because they had been chased for too long. They were like birds startled by the mere twang of a bough. Any movement would cause them to panic. Stop, don't move. Otherwise, don't blame us for making a move. Fong Xian shouted as a warning. Oh, so what if I move? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows and looked at the group. Damn it. Fong Xian was instantly enraged. If she was still the Soul Race princess, she would have immediately ordered for this rude person to be chopped into pieces and fed to the dogs. Sister, don't be rash. This person's origin is unknown. He seems to be from the outer realm. Don't act rashly and cause unnecessary trouble. Fong Yang secretly used his divine sense to warn his sister. Hearing this, Fong Xian was very unwilling, but she could only listen to her brother's orders. In her eyes, this person who suddenly appeared in front of her did not have any aura. Obviously, he was very weak. Facing such a person, there was no need to be polite. She could just kill him with a palm. Whoosh! Xiaoping took a step forward and arrived in front of the group. If I'm not wrong, you should be from the soul race. What? Hearing this, Fong Xin and the others immediately had goosebumps. They thought that this kid was someone who was chasing after them. However, they were still restrained by the cautious Fong Yang and could not act recklessly. "Oh, so what if I am, and so what if I'm not?" Fong Yang asked calmly. "That's good. I have something to ask you. You'd better answer honestly and don't hide anything." Xiaoping went straight to the point, not wanting to waste too much time. "Who do you think you are? You want us to answer you? Do you believe that we won't chop you into pieces?" Hearing this, Fong Xin was immediately enraged. Her heart was filled with hostility. After being chased by demons for so long, she had long become extremely violent. Now that a weak human dared to order her around like this, how could this be? Xiaoping did not even look at her and lightly flicked his finger. Dong! Fong Xin did not know what happened. Her entire body was bombarded by a force, and she flew out. She scraped the ground and slid for over 100 kilometers before smashing into a mountain. "Sister." Fong Yang was shocked, angry, and afraid. He was shocked and angry that this kid dared to attack his sister, but he was also frightened by this stranger's terrifying strength. To be able to so easily send his sister flying like a ball without them being able to react, this power was simply not to be underestimated. Chapter 2034. "Sister, are you all right?" Fong Yang asked nervously as he looked at his sister. I'm fine." Fong Xin was also scared half to death. Her face was ashen as she trembled all over. Xiaoping's attack just now made her feel as if her life had been frozen in water. It was as if even her spirit had been torn apart. She could not control her body in any way as she retreated. This was simply the moment when she was on the verge of death. Countless scenes from the past emerged from the depths of her mind like flashing lights. At that moment, she felt so regretful that her intestines turned green. If she had known that this person was so terrifying, she would not have been so talkative. This was simply a disaster from the mouth. At this moment, she also clearly realized that she was no longer the princess of the soul race, but just a stray dog. Just when she thought that she was dead for sure, she completely regained her composure. She discovered that there was not the slightest injury on her body. She had only been sent flying. All of a sudden, she was pleasantly surprised. She had actually wandered between life and death several times, feeling the joy of being reborn. What? She's really fine. Fong Yang also sensed his sister's situation. On one hand, he was relieved, but on the other hand, he was aghast and extremely shocked. There was even a look of disbelief on his face. This was because to be able to send his sister flying without any resistance and also leave her unscathed, this was an astonishing level of control. It was simply the use of power to the acme of perfection. Perhaps only those who had martial arts cultivation far beyond their realm, experts at the almighty level, could do such a thing. This strength was something that even their soul race's grand elder could not do. One could imagine that the cultivation of this mysterious person in front of them had reached an unimaginable level. Thinking of this, Fong Yang immediately lowered his attitude. He came in front of Xiaoping and said humbly, "Senior, I'm sorry. My sister was disrespectful just now. I hope you can be magnanimous and forgive her this time." Seeing Xiaoping's appearance, Fong Xin was also terrified and did not dare to speak any more nonsense. The other soul race warriors also looked at Xiaoping with great vigilance. "Don't worry too much. This is a small punishment to warn you. The goal is to let you speak properly. Or if you think it's not enough and that a few people need to die before you can speak properly, I can fulfill your wish." Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back, his body filled with a terrifying murderous aura. Immediately, many soul warriors felt as though they had fallen into a hell of corpses and blood. A chill surged from the soles of their feet and directly rose to the top of their heads. It was as though even their souls had been frozen by this killing intent. Against this human, they were completely powerless. It was as if he could kill them all with a single thought. No. Of course we can talk nicely. What does Senior want to know? I will tell you everything I know." Fong Yang said again and again, and quickly lowered his attitude. If he provoked the mysterious man in front of him, he would die now before the pursuers came. "Damn it, Fong Xin, and the others were very unwilling. If the Patriarch and the Great Elder were still here, this guy would have been killed long ago. How would he dare to threaten them like this? This was simply a case of a tiger being bullied by a dog. Very well, then let me ask you, what kind of world is this? Who are you people? Also, which force is the most powerful in this world? Xiaoping asked a series of questions. He didn't care about exposing his identity as an outsider at all. With his current strength, apart from saints, there was no one that could make him feel fear. Hearing this, Fang Yang's eyes flashed. To be able to ask this kind of question meant that this person was most likely not from this world, but someone from the outer realm. Just like the killing curse saint and the other monsters, they were also experts from the outer realm. He didn't find it strange at all when they came from the outer realm. However, he quickly restrained his emotions and respectfully told them some of the information he knew. 10 minutes later, Fang Yang finally told them everything he knew. In any case, this information was already known to everyone, so it didn't matter if he told them. I see. Xiaoping rubbed his chin. From what Fang Yang said, he knew that the most powerful force in the Azure Sea realm was the killing curse saint. It was this demon saint that ruled this world. Moreover, this demon saint had only arrived in this world tens of thousands of years ago. It seemed that it had unintentionally discovered this world. As a result, the Soul Clan was ruled by it and had always been oppressed. However, this situation completely changed when Lu Rulan came. Lu Rulan completely activated the Soul Hall inheritance of this world, which attracted the attention of the Killing Curse Saint. In the end, the Killing Curse Saint wanted to capture Lu Rulan alive to obtain the inheritance of the Blood Soul Saint. It didn't expect Lu Rulan to have a backup plan. She had various tricks left behind by the Blood Soul Saint, which allowed her to escape easily. However, this completely angered the Killing Curse Saint. It captured all the people from the Soul Clan and killed them one by one in an attempt to force Lu Rulan to appear. However, Lu Rulan never appeared, and the Soul Clan suffered heavy casualties. Because they had predicted the danger beforehand, Fang Yang and the other nobles escaped immediately and barely escaped with their lives. Unfortunately, their auras were already known by the group of monsters. If they leaked even a little bit of their aura, the group of monsters would know and chase them from tens of thousands of miles away. There was no way to escape. Senior, we're being chased by the Monster Kings. The situation is critical. If you continue to stay with us, I'm afraid you'll be mistaken as an accomplice and meet with misfortune. Fang Yang warned them vaguely, indicating that they were already in big trouble. If they continue to stay with them, they would definitely become a thorn in the side of the Monster Kings. He hoped to send this plague away as soon as possible so that they could reach the blood mist forbidden land in peace. At that moment, Xiaoping suddenly sensed something. He lifted his head and looked into the sky. Fang Yang and the rest also saw Xiaoping's strange behavior. They couldn't help but look over as well. However, what they saw made their souls jump in fright. It was because a black spaceship was flying over from afar like a fish. There was a skull pattern on the spaceship, emitting an eerie aura of death. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, more than 100 figures flew out from the black spaceship. Each of them exuded a powerful aura that was as deep as the abyss. They stood in the void and looked at Fang Yang and the rest mockingly. It was as though they were looking at ants. The leader of the group of Monster Kings, who had a lion head and a human body, laughed coldly. Found them. The remnants of the Soul Clan. Attack and capture all of them alive. Kill anyone who dares to resist. Leave no one alive. Kill. Chapter 2035. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In an instant, more than a dozen demon kings attacked at the same time from all directions, covering the sky and earth, completely surrounding Fang Yang and the others. The surrounding demon Qi soared into the sky, and the black fog filled the air, forming a storm, sweeping everything. They only sent out a portion of their troops, and the other demon kings were watching. Because if all the demon kings were dispatched, it would be like killing a chicken with a butcher's knife. Oh no, it's the Cursed Legion. How did they arrive so quickly? We clearly got rid of them by tens of thousands of kilometers. The group of soul warriors saw this scene, and their expressions changed drastically. They were scared out of their wits, as if they had met the Grim Reaper. Because the Cursed Legion was too terrifying, there were many experts in it. Their clan leader, elders, great elders, and countless elite warriors died in their hands. No matter how powerful the warriors were, in front of this legion, they were as weak as ants. Once the other party attacked, it meant that they would suffer countless casualties. Now, this legion actually sent out more than 100 demon kings. It was simply an elite force, and they surrounded them in all directions. Will they all one die today? It's over. It's completely over. We're dead. What should we do, escape? Fong Xian panicked and quickly transmitted her voice. Although she was in despair at the moment, her strong desire to survive dominated her. She still didn't want to die, especially after experiencing life and death just now. She didn't want to die even more. Escape? How can we escape? Hundreds of demon kings have gathered, sealing the sky and locking the earth. There's no way to escape. We can only wait for death. Fong Yang was also in despair. He could sense that the demon kings who did not attack were not watching the show, but intentionally or unintentionally sealed the space to prevent them from escaping. Under such close surveillance, it was as difficult as ascending to heaven to escape from these demon kings. Right, there's also this mysterious man. He's strong. If he makes a move, he will definitely be able to resist for a while. In this way, we can use him as a shield and escape easily. Fong Xian transmitted her voice and immediately came up with an idea to let Xia Ping be a scapegoat. Don't worry, he's already on the same boat as us. We don't need to encourage him. He will make a move, otherwise we will all die. Fong Yang's eyes revealed a vicious look. Boom! At this moment, more than 10 demon kings charged over from the sky. They transformed into demonic winds and moved as fast as lightning, reaching an unbelievable speed. In an instant, they arrived before everyone. Remnant of the soul race, surrender immediately. Kneel on the ground and beg for mercy, or you will be killed without mercy. The dozen or so monster kings roared angrily, emitting a powerful pressure in an attempt to subdue Fong Yang and the others. Scram! Xia Ping stood there with a calm expression. He looked at the group of monster kings and said, "Don't make me angry. If you leave now, I can pretend that this never happened. Otherwise, all of you will die. Do you understand?" Upon hearing this, the surrounding Spirita's warriors were all dumbfounded. Was this kid crazy? Did he not know what the current situation was? He actually dared to provoke him. Could it be that he didn't want to die fast enough? Fong Xian and the others were overjoyed. Idiot, truly an idiot. Even at this point, he still dares to provoke us. Those demon kings will definitely be enraged by his words and will definitely kill him. Indeed, the dignity of the Curse Killer Legion cannot be humiliated, and they cannot tolerate sand in their eyes. This kid is dead. However, this person's background is unfathomable and his martial strength is extraordinary. He may not die so easily. The stronger the better. It's best if this kid dies together with these demon kings. We can then reap the benefits and obtain the treasures on these people to strengthen ourselves. Fong Yang, Fong Xian, and the others were overjoyed. They secretly communicated with their divine senses. They did not expect that Xia Ping would take the initiative to provoke them at this time. He took the initiative to fight them. This was the same as taking the initiative to die in their place. They felt that their luck today was too good. They actually encountered such an idiot. Perhaps today was their lucky day, blessed by their ancestors. What? There are actually humans in this place? Where did they come from? Who cares where they came from? If they dare to obstruct our Curse Killer Legion, they will all die. Kill them all together. Dismember their body into 1,000 pieces. These demon kings were furious. As the strongest army under the command of the demon sage of the killing curse, they were somewhat famous even in the central universe. Needless to say, in this Qinghai realm, they were simply invincible, causing people to tremble in fear. Now, there is actually someone who saw them and was not afraid. He even neighed and stopped them on the spot. How could this be? Wasn't this the same as tearing the ground on the head of a tiger? Boom! More than a dozen monster kings immediately turned around and attacked Xiaoping. The demonic wind formed a terrible storm, destroying heaven and earth. It seemed as if it would raise the surrounding tens of millions of kilometers to the ground. The wild wind that swept up in all directions suddenly turned into sharp blades, cutting the ground into countless ravines. In the distance, mountains were flattened by the wind blades. Fang Yang and the others were also sent flying by this demonic wind. They could not stand steadily at all. Their hearts were cold. Just the demonic wind that came from around them was enough to make them unable to fight back. If they fought head-on, they would probably all die in a single exchange. Oh, why do you want to die? Why bother? Xiaoping sighed and shook his head. He did not do anything. He just punched the void. This one punch seemed to have turned the area within a radius of 1,000 miles into a vacuum zone. All the air was expelled, forming a terrifying spatial barrier. The entire world shook fiercely. Heaven and earth were in chaos, and ripples appeared in the surrounding void. Dong! The dozen or so monster kings did not know what had happened. Their eyes were wide open, and their faces were filled with malevolent, evil, and cruel expressions. It was the kind that made people shiver. But in the next second, their bodies shattered. They were forcibly flattened by a mass of air and crushed into meat paste. Boom! More than a dozen fireworks appeared in the air. The bodies of these monster kings exploded into pieces and turned into meat paste. Blood flew in all directions like fireworks. Fang Yang and the other soul warriors were dumbfounded. They were so shocked that they could not even close their mouths. Those were more than a dozen monster kings, terrifying experts who could slaughter more than half of their soul race. There were also existences in the lightning tribulation realm among them. Such experts were insufferably arrogant and invincible. But what happened now? With just a single punch, more than a dozen monster kings were blown up. Their bodies shattered like watermelons. Such a scene was too shocking. Even if they exhausted their imaginations, they would not have thought of such a thing. What happened? Fang Xin was in disbelief. She did not expect that more than a dozen terrifying monster kings would be killed just like that. They were unable to resist at all. Chapter 2036. How could this be? In the air, the monster kings were completely dumbfounded. They'd originally been watching this massacre as if they were watching a good show. This was a one-sided battle, something to talk about after a meal. But what had happened now? In the blink of an eye, more than 10 powerful monster kings had been killed, blown apart by a single punch from this human. Powerful? He's just too powerful. He killed more than 10 of our companions with a single punch. This kind of power is at least at the title Monster King level. Damn it. How could such a human expert appear in a place like this? He's definitely an outsider. He can't be a native of the Azure Sea realm. How could this be? This world has long since been sealed by Master. It's impossible for outsiders to invade. How did this human get here? The Monster Kings were all panicking. They'd never encountered something like this before. In their eyes, this was just an ordinary mission. They didn't care about this human who'd suddenly appeared. They could kill him at any time. But now they'd kicked an iron plate. Run, hurry and run. Report to Master that an enemy has invaded the Azure Sea realm. Send reinforcements to surround and kill them. The lion-headed leader sent a divine sense transmission. The current situation was extremely complicated. The Azure Sea realm had been invaded by a human. Someone had broken through Master's restrictive spell formation. This was unprecedented. They had to find out what had happened. They couldn't fight to the death with this mysterious human. You think this is your home? You can come and go as you please. Do you think this is your home? Xiaoping calmly looked at the Monster Kings. Boom! In an instant, an incomparably terrifying pressure erupted from his body. This was the might of a divine beast. It was as if a mythical figure had walked out of the primal chaos. Just a wisp of his aura could crush the heavens. At this moment, the entire world fell silent. All living things were silent. The air stopped flowing. All the air currents stopped moving. Everything had completely stabilized. The water droplets and dust in the air stopped moving. The surrounding trees, weeds, and other plants stopped swaying. The insects on the ground seemed to have been immobilized. They suddenly stopped moving. All the monster kings that were trying to escape stopped. Their bodies were frozen in place. Even Fang Yang and the other soul warriors were unable to move. Even the magic power within their bodies had stopped circulating. Some demon monarchs attempted to flap their wings and soar into the sky. Some demon monarchs took a step forward, while others turned around. Some demon monarchs opened their mouths as though they wanted to say something, but all of them stopped. The surrounding void seemed to solidify, as if it had turned into an eternal picture. The only thing that could move was their minds. They could barely think. They wanted to move, but their bodies wouldn't listen to them. The only one who could move in this world was Xia Ping. I am a petty person who will seek revenge for the smallest grievance. Xia Ping stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his expression indifferent. I might not remember those who gave me benefits, but if you offended me, I would never forget it, not even if the heavens and earth grew old. You dare to attack me and unleash your killing intent. So you are my enemies, and you must die. Since you're courting death, you can't blame anyone else. He stood where he was, and his body naturally emitted a terrifying pressure. The surrounding soul warriors and demon monarchs were alarmed. Even if they wanted to move, they couldn't. The pressure was terrifying to the extreme, as though countless ceiling array formations were pressing down on them. Many demon monarchs from the Cursed Death Legion were terrified, and their souls trembled. They were all demon monarchs, and many of them had reached the lightning retribution realm, or even the peak of the lightning retribution realm. This power, except for sages, could sweep away almost everything. Even the famous titled demon monarchs could be easily crushed by their power. Therefore, when they moved, they were simply invincible, not putting anyone in their eyes. But now, this kid in front of them didn't even move. Just the terrifying pressure emitted from his body was enough to make the world tremble, making them unable to move. What kind of power was this? Was he still considered a lightning retribution realm powerhouse? This was too exaggerated. But before they could think for long, Xia Ping stretched out his hand and pressed down gently. Bang! Bang! In midair, the bodies of the demon monarchs immediately exploded like watermelons shattering. Their primordial spirits were also shattered in an instant, and a large amount of blood poured down like raindrops. A large amount of blood poured into the ravine deep in the ground, seemingly turning into a blood river, and the surroundings were filled with a strong smell of blood. Whoosh! A vortex naturally appeared in Xia Ping's body, with his body as the center, producing a terrifying, devouring power. Deep in the void, the broken soul energy was automatically absorbed by his body. The soul energy of hundreds of demon monarchs quickly flowed into the depths of his primordial spirit. His primordial spirit was also growing bit by bit, and the magic power in his body was also rising. Although the soul energy of hundreds of demon monarchs was nothing to the current Xia Ping, and devouring it was better than nothing, it was still better than putting out a cart of firewood with a cup of water. If this continued for a long time, there would definitely be earth-shaking changes. This was the so-called cultivation, the accumulation of daily little by little, in the end, would form a river and an ocean. Whoosh! Xia Ping waved his hand and stored the bodies of the dead demon monarchs. The flesh and blood of these demon monarchs also contained a lot of essence energy, and in the space of the mountain river pearl, they would be good fertilizer. He also took away the storage rings of these demon monarchs and obtained many magic treasures, spiritual medicine, and pills. Were we just now? After killing all the demon monarchs, Xia Ping turned around and looked at Fang Xian and the others, who were already stunned. Fang Xian and the others were dumbfounded. They did not know what to say to this terrifying existence in front of them, who had killed hundreds of demon monarchs with a wave of his hand. At this moment, endless fear and horror surged in their hearts. This was because if the other party wanted to, he could crush all of them at any time and place. Blood Mist Forbidden Land. We were just talking about the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. Fang Yang was the first to regain his senses, and he hurriedly said, afraid that if he was a step too late, he would anger the demon in front of him and cause the people of the Soul Clan to die without a burial place. Very well. Where is the blood mist forbidden land? Take me there immediately. Xiaoping was very curious about this place. Even the killing curse sage was afraid to enter this place, so it must contain endless secrets. Perhaps Lu Rulon was in this forbidden land. Yes, yes, yes. Fang Yang nodded repeatedly. He did not dare to disobey Xiaoping's request. Chapter 2037. A day later, Xiaoping and the others finally arrived at the blood mist forbidden land. As soon as they approached the forbidden land, they immediately discovered that the vast area was surrounded by a blood mist. It seemed to be boundless and permeated the void. No one knew how big the forbidden land was. At the same time, the blood mist seemed to contain a power that interfered with divine sense. If one probed it with divine sense, they would immediately be corroded by the blood mist. It even transmitted a terrifying demonic aura that corroded the soul. Interesting. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He activated the Golden Crow's Eye of Hell and immediately saw that this forbidden area was extraordinary. It was a saint-level spell formation that enveloped the void, and the entire ground was densely covered with spell formation inscriptions. This was probably the work of the Blood Soul Saint. Only such an existence could set up a saint-class formation like this. It was no wonder that the demon saint did not dare to enter the blood mist forbidden land at will. After all, this might be the Blood Soul Saint's lair. No one knew what the Blood Soul Saint had left behind. However, it wasn't so difficult for Xiaoping. His eyes penetrated through space and saw through the illusion, and he clearly analyzed the profundities of this formation. He understood it clearly, and he understood it from the bottom of his heart. Are we really going to enter the blood mist forbidden land? Fang Xin and the other soul warriors were uneasy and terrified. The blood mist forbidden land's infamy had long spread throughout the Qinghai realm. It had been deeply implanted in their hearts for countless years. Everyone knew that it was a forbidden land of no return. Moreover, this was not a legend. It was a fact. Almost every year, people would try to explore the blood mist forbidden land and disappear inside. At the thought that they were about to enter such a forbidden area, they felt a chill run down their spines and had the thought of retreating. Of course, Fang Yang said matter-of-factly, in order to avoid being chased by those monsters, we can only enter the blood mist forbidden land. Otherwise, we will die sooner or later. Yes. Hearing this, many soul warriors nodded. It was true. If they had a choice, they naturally did not want to go in. However, they had no choice now. If they did not go in, they would die. If they went in, they might have a chance of survival, even if it was a narrow escape. Let's go in. Xiaoping did not want to waste time with these people. He lifted his foot and walked in. The wish compass was also guiding him. Lu Rulon should be deep inside the forbidden land. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. When Fang Yang and the others saw this, they did not hesitate and followed in. Boom! As soon as they entered the blood mist forbidden land, everyone immediately felt that they had fallen into an endless blood mist. The surrounding blood mist seemed to have a life of its own as it drilled into the 108,000 pores of their bodies. Immediately, they couldn't help but let out a moan. The blood-colored mist was like a great supplement to their energy, crazily pouring into their bodies, increasing the energy of their flesh and blood. My heavens! My magic power! My nascent divinity! They're all increasing at a crazy rate. What is this blood mist? Why is it able to increase our strength? It's too fast. The speed of cultivation is just too fast. It's as if every breath is equivalent to 3 months of cultivation. Could this be the holy land of cultivation that the ancestor has bestowed upon our soul clan? As expected, this place is the treasure of my soul race, not some forbidden land. Many soul warriors were extremely excited. They felt that their cultivation, which had not loosened for a long time, had begun to loosen after devouring the massive amount of blood-colored fog. Their dermic powers and cultivation were increasing at a visible rate. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He didn't feel this way because the blood-colored fog had seeped into his body and was trying to invade his soul, destroying it crazily. Even the surrounding restrictive array formations were extremely malicious towards him. A huge amount of corrosive energy seemed to wrap around his entire body, corroding him completely, leaving not a single drop behind. Clearly, the restrictive formation in this forbidden land was specially designed to deal with outsiders. If someone who wasn't a member of the soul race entered, he would be treated as an enemy and be annihilated. "Corinne, do you know what this blood-colored fog is?" Xiaoping asked. Upon hearing this, Corinne immediately replied, "Be careful. This is the famous corrosive soul fog. It seems that the blood soul saint created it by absorbing the soul fog from the depths of the dimension. If you devour the soul fog, you can immediately obtain a massive amount of soul energy. For the soul race, this is simply a great tonic, equivalent to the primordial chi of the human race's holy land. However, the blood soul saint is sinister and ruthless. He even modified this soul fog. It seems that he added special substances such as evil chi, corrosive chi, cursed chi, and so on into it, creating the corrosive soul fog. As a result, this fog has a strong repellent property. If someone who isn't from another race enters the fog, they will be completely corroded, leaving nothing behind. Corinne said that when the blood soul saint was rampaging through the universe, every time he started a war, he would summon the corrosive soul fog to envelop the entire battlefield. Wherever he went, he was invincible, causing countless deaths and injuries. After all, staying in the corrosive soul fog not only greatly increased the strength of the soul race warriors, but also accelerated the recovery of their soul power. However, other races would be rapidly corroded and wouldn't be a match for it all. Soul fog? It looks like a good thing. Devour it for me. Upon hearing this, Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He operated the devouring magical ability in his body, and a Taotai appeared behind him. It opened its mouth, and a black hole appeared, producing a terrifying devouring power. Not only did he not repel the blood-colored fog, but he also took the initiative to devour it into his body. Although the blood-colored fog was extremely harmful to other races and had a strong repellent property, it was still a huge amount of pure energy. Under the Tao Ye's devouring magical ability, no matter what it was, it would be devoured cleanly. Everything would be completely refined, including the blood-colored fog. It couldn't harm him at all. Whoosh, with his body as the center, the area within a radius of 1,000 kilometers turned into a huge whirlpool. Like a whale swallowing, the huge amount of blood-colored fog frantically surged into Xiaoping's body. Phew! Xiaoping took a deep breath and felt extremely comfortable. It was as if with every breath he took, he could devour a huge amount of soul energy. This was several times better than killing a few Thunder Tribulation Realm experts. He felt that his primordial spirit was growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The range of his divine sense was also expanding bit by bit, and the 9 purple mansion spaces were also expanding. Buzz, the entire restriction formation, seemed to be a little stunned at this moment. It completely didn't expect such a thing to happen. In the face of the corrosive soul fog, someone who wasn't from the soul race was actually able to devour and absorb it wantonly. It was too unreasonable. Chapter 2038. Gulp, gulp, Xiaoping continued to devour the fog around him. In just a few breaths, the blood-colored fog within 1,000 miles was completely devoured. Even the blood-colored fog in the distance continued to fill in the gaps. However, Fong Yang and the others could see the color of the blood-colored fog. It seemed that because of Xiaoping's devouring, the color of the fog had dimmed and become much thinner. Many of the Spirita's warriors were stunned. For tens of thousands of years, the Scarlet Forbidden Land had remained unchanged for tens of thousands of years. But because of this human, it had become like this. Could it be that this fellow wanted to devour all the Scarlet Fog? They were shocked, angry, anxious, and panicked because they could feel that the fog was beneficial to their bodies. This should be a fortuitous encounter that the old ancestor had bestowed upon the soul race. But now it was actually taken away by an outsider. They were so angry that they could not wait to drive this bastard away. But after careful consideration, they still endured it because they could not defeat him at all. Beep, beep. At this moment, a mechanical voice seemed to come from the depths of the void. Emergency! Emergency! Taotai invasion! Taotai invasion! Suggested immediate expulsion. Suggested immediate expulsion. Huh. Xiaoping blinked. He realized that the surrounding restrictive formation seemed to have changed. Formation after formation appeared from the depths of the void, filled with dense spatial energy. The spatial energy quickly turned into transparent spatial chains. One after another, thousands of them flew over, trying to capture Xiaoping and directly teleport him out. Obviously, the restrictive formation here could not kill a Taotai, so it could only teleport him out. This was also the second defensive restrictive formation of the Scarlet Forbidden Land. How stingy. Didn't I just devour a little bit of your soul fog? Is this necessary? And you want to teleport me away? Xiaoping was very angry. He felt that this blood soul saint was too stingy. He had only devoured a little bit of the corrosive soul fog, and yet the restrictive formation's defensive mechanism was activated to teleport him away. It was like sending away a god of plague. He did not have the generosity of a saint at all. Of course, as he spoke, he also tried his best to swallow a few mouthfuls. The blood-colored fog within a radius of thousands of miles was completely devoured by him. It was as if the entire area had been emptied. And this action further stimulated the restrictive formation, speeding up the formation of the spatial restrictive formation. Immediately, an energy barrier formed, enveloping Xiaoping and teleporting him away. I'm done playing with you guys. Xiaoping didn't want to be teleported away. Otherwise, he wouldn't know where he would be teleported to. He didn't know how long it would take for him to return to the Azure Sea realm. His infernal golden crow's eyes shone brightly, and he saw through the densely packed restrictive spells in the void. At the same time, he discovered the 36 flaws of this restrictive spell formation. Whoosh! Xiaoping's silhouette flickered as he took a step forward. Using space teleportation, he instantly escaped from the range of the restrictive spells. The surrounding space fluctuated. In an instant, he disappeared from where he stood. He traveled through space and arrived in the deepest part of the Blood Mist Forbidden area. As for the other Soul Race clansmen, he didn't want to continue paying attention to them. Whether they lived or died would depend on their luck. In the next second, a spatial ripple appeared, and Xiaoping's figure appeared in another place. He found that he had arrived in a palace, and this place was a bathroom, like a hot spring. However, this was no ordinary hot spring bath, because what flowed in the hot spring was not water, but liquid refined from all kinds of precious spiritual medicines. Every drop was priceless and contained enormous medicinal power. If one could cultivate in such a hot spring, one's cultivation speed would increase by leaps and bounds. Just by smell alone, Xiaoping could sniff out hundreds of familiar 1,000-year-old spiritual medicines and 10,000-year-old spiritual medicines. At that moment, he realized that a graceful figure had appeared in the middle of the medicinal hot spring. She was graceful and exquisite, and seemed to be absorbing the medicinal power in the hot spring, condensing her spiritual power. Xiaoping activated his infernal golden crow's eyes and saw through the steam. He saw the figure in the hot spring. It was none other than Lu Rulon. She was completely naked in the hot spring, and her beautiful eyes were closed. She exuded a mature and charming aura, and at the same time, a hint of elegance. She was like a high and mighty saint. After not seeing her for a few years, Lu Rulon seemed to have become more mature and charming. Her every move contained a flirtatious aura. Her beauty was shocking, and he couldn't take his eyes off her. Who's there? Suddenly, Lu Rulon seemed to sense an outsider's aura. She opened her beautiful eyes, and there was a glimmer of light in them. She immediately slammed her palm in Xiaoping's direction. The power of this palm alone had reached the level of a Dharma plane cultivator. Dong! Xiaoping pointed his finger lightly, and the power of the palm instantly turned into nothingness. It was as if it had entered a quagmire, and all the force disappeared without a trace. What? Lu Rulon was shocked. She didn't expect this invader to be so powerful. Could it be that the curse-killing demon saint's subordinate had already passed through the blood mist forbidden ground and arrived here? Thinking about this, she didn't hesitate and immediately used the Soul Clan's supreme magical power, Intrusive Dream. Buzz buzz in the blink of an eye, with her body as the center, the powerful divine sense of the soul race spread out, permeating a radius of several hundred kilometers. It was silent and seemed to pull the souls of all living beings in this area into a dream. Although the name of this magical power was ordinary, its effect was extremely terrifying. Once hit by this magical power, even a peak Thunder Tribulation Realm cultivator would be pulled into a dream. If they were to lose the battle in the dream, they would die. Even if they managed to stay undefeated, Lu Rulon could still take the opportunity to escape. Interesting. Xiaoping naturally felt the power of this spiritual magical power. With Lu Rulon's spiritual power, she could defeat most cultivators, but that didn't include him. If he didn't want to, no matter how powerful Lu Rulon was, she wouldn't be able to shake his primordial spirit. However, he didn't resist or struggle. Instead, he allowed the power of the dream to pull him into the dream. Boom, in the next second, Xiaoping's and Lu Rulon's silhouettes appeared in the dreamland. It was a pure white world. Tell me, who are you? How did you get into the blood mist forbidden ground? Wait, you're not the subordinate of the curse-killing demon saint. You're Xiaoping. What are you doing here? Initially, Lu Rulon had a serious look on her face as she tried to interrogate this invader. However, she soon realized that the figure in front of her was the partner that she had been thinking about day and night, the one who had undergone dual cultivation, Xiaoping. She was stunned. She had never imagined that she would see Xiaoping again like this. I didn't expect you to be so proactive. Is your body that hungry? Xiaoping took a step forward and immediately hugged Lu Rulon's slender waist. Hungry, my asterisk SS. Pervert. Let go of me. Chapter 2039. The night passed. In one of the palaces in the blood mist forbidden land, thunder rumbled and a scream was heard. Then, it stopped abruptly as if a storm had just passed. Then, there was an endless silence. Gangster, scumbag, liar. Lu Rulon's pretty face was flushed as she glared at Xiaoping. This B****-starred was a beast. They had just met, and he had already pushed her down. While she was unprepared, he took advantage of the situation. In the end, she was eaten by this gangster and lost her innocence. It was her fault for not insisting. Under this B****-starred sweet words, she gave in and lost her innocence, turning from a girl to a woman. However, she could not do anything about it. She had gone through spiritual dual cultivation with Xiaoping. Both of them were naturally close, as if they had lived together for decades. Now that they had not seen each other for years, as the saying went, absence makes the heart grow fonder. The telepathic heart technique was activated and burned. Moreover, a man and a woman were alone in a room. It was like dry wood meeting fire. How am I a liar? Xiaoping felt innocent and blinked. He had always thought of himself as an honest man. How are you not a liar? You said you're just going to rub around and not go in. I'd be a fool to believe you. You men are all bad. Lu Rulon spat and bit Xiaoping's shoulder hard. However, this B****-starred skin was as tough as cowhide. Even if she was a puppy, she could not break his skin. I'm not lying. It was just an accident. At first, it just rubbed against you, but I accidentally slipped and slipped in. It's an accident. No one wants it to happen. Xiaoping said casually, indicating that it was just an accident. Lu Rulon chuckled. She felt that this B****-starred skin was not only as tough as cowhide, but his skin was also extremely thick. He was impenetrable. Even a sacred weapon might not be able to penetrate his skin. Slipped and slipped in accidentally? Why didn't you slide somewhere else? Boom! At that moment, the entire palace shook violently. What's going on? Could it be that such tremors are normal in the Blood Soul Forbidden Land? Xiaoping squinted his eyes. It's not normal. Lu Rulon shook her head. This means that someone outside has passed the test of the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. Someone from the Soul Clan has entered the Forbidden Land, which triggered the activation of the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. She looked at Xiaoping strangely because only the Soul Race could enter the Blood Mist Forbidden Ground. Anyone else who entered the Blood Mist Forbidden Ground would die. The subordinates of the cursed demon saint tried to break in, but they all died without exception. But this guy was able to come in, and he didn't even trigger the restrictive formation of this forbidden area. It was extremely strange. However, Lu Rulon did not know that Xiaoping had seen through the weakness of the restrictive formation and came over in one step. This was equivalent to cheating in the exam through the back door. It was normal that he didn't trigger a reaction from the restrictive array formation. So that's how it is. It seems that Fang Yang's group of Soul Clan members have passed the test and walked in. Xiaoping nodded, indicating that he understood. Fang Yang? How did you meet them? Lu Rulon furrowed her brows when she heard this. Xiaoping replied, as soon as I arrived in the Azure Sea realm, I ran into them. He then told her about his encounter with Fang Yang and the others, indicating that they had only met by chance. Why? It seems like you're not very friendly to people of the same race. Xiaoping asked. Friendly? Lu Rulon laughed coldly. When I was first teleported to the Azure Sea realm, I thought that they would be friendly since we're from the same race. However, I didn't expect that when this group of people saw me, they revealed ferocious expressions and immediately wanted to capture me. They wanted to interrogate me about my origins, obtain my magic treasures, secret techniques, and so on. They even wanted to torture me. Fortunately, I had the Blood Soul Saint's talisman. In order to protect me, they couldn't do anything to me at all. In the end, they could only live in peace with me. Even so, they sent a maid to monitor me at all times. Of course, on the surface, they said that they would send a maid to serve me. But how could I not know what they were thinking? As the holy lady of the soul race, with the heavenly soul constitution, Lu Rulon was born with the ability to see through people's minds. What happened next? What happened next? Xiaoping nodded. He had expected this, because he could sense that Fang Yang and the others were hiding something. They might even be up to no good and had many ulterior motives. Therefore, he was not surprised. After that, I accidentally activated the soul race's inheritance in the Azure Sea realm. As a result, I attracted the killing demon saint's attention. A large number of demons and ghosts came to kill me, and even the killing demon saint personally took action. Lu Rulon said in a low voice, Fortunately, I activated the inheritance. At the crucial moment, the restrictive formation directly teleported me to the blood mist forbidden land. That's how I managed to avoid the killing demon saint's pursuit. Although this blood mist forbidden land is powerful, it might not be able to withstand the killing demon saint, right? Xiaoping felt that the restrictive formation of the blood mist forbidden land did not seem to be able to withstand the power of the saint. It's not that it can withstand the power of the saint, but this place contains many powerful, profound, and mysterious spatial formations, Lu Rulon said. If the killing demon saint enters, it will immediately be teleported to a perilous place in the universe. Even an immortal saint would die in a perilous place like that. Therefore, the killing demon saint sensed the danger and was unwilling to enter. I see. Xiaoping indicated that he understood. The spatial restrictions from before were indeed powerful. If he did not have the infernal golden crow's eye and powerful spatial divine power, he probably would not have been able to escape from the restrictive formation. If the killing demon saint had not found the flaw in the restrictive formation, it would definitely have been teleported away. It would not have been able to withstand it at all. Even if the opponent was an immortal saint, if he were to go to some perilous place in the universe, he would probably die. This was also a sinister plan left behind by the Blood Soul Saint. If this is the soul race's land of inheritance, it shouldn't be dangerous for the soul race to enter. Why has no one been able to leave this place after so many years, leaving behind the legend of the Forbidden Land? Xiaoping asked curiously. That's because this place is one of the soul race's supreme lands of inheritance. The requirements for the soul race warriors are extremely high. If they can't meet the requirements, they will stay here forever, unable to leave the land of inheritance, until they die of old age. Lu Rulon said that for countless years, no soul race warrior had met the requirements of the land of inheritance. Therefore, no one had been able to leave. That was why the legend of the Forbidden Land had been left behind, which terrified countless soul race warriors. Of course, I'm different. I've passed the trial long ago and can leave at any time. Chapter 2040. Blood Mist Forbidden Land. Fang Yang and the others had basically passed through the Blood Mist Forbidden Land and arrived at a square. They saw that there were palaces around them, and the surroundings were also covered with densely packed restrictive formations, exuding a heart-palpitating aura. Is this the depths of the Blood Mist Forbidden Land? It's really incredible. Someone immediately sighed when he saw this scene. Previously, they thought that the Blood Mist Forbidden Land was a devil's lair, with countless people dying in and out. But now they actually entered so easily, and none of them died. It was really incredible. I knew that the old ancestor wouldn't harm us. This place is the rise of our soul clan. Hiding in the Blood Mist Forbidden Land, even those demons can't attack us. We can recuperate in this place. Some of the Spirida's warriors laughed heartily, almost weeping bitter tears. After fleeing for such a long time, they could finally rest in peace. They were completely safe. Even if the group of demons under the demon saint of Killing Curse knew that they were hiding in the Blood Mist Forbidden Land, they probably wouldn't be able to break in. Fang Yang, Fang Xin, and the others were also overjoyed. They knew that they had indeed made the right bet. The Blood Mist Forbidden Land, which made countless people tremble in fear, was actually the treasure land of their soul clan. But where did that mysterious person go? Why can't I see him? Someone asked. They didn't know what Xiaoping's real name was, and they weren't even very clear about his origins. They could only refer to him as a mysterious person. They also looked around, but they still couldn't find any trace of Xiaoping. He probably died in that blood mist. This is the holy land of our soul clan. Only death awaits any outsider who enters. Even if that guy is powerful, there's no exception. Fang Xian sneered. Previously, that bastard had brought her a lot of humiliation. If he died now, it couldn't be better. It could be considered revenge. The others also nodded. They also felt that the mysterious person's chances of survival were not high. After all, even a tyrannical figure like the demon saint of Killing Curse didn't dare to enter this place. A mere mysterious person was nothing. Could that guy be stronger than the demon saint? Even thinking about it with their knees, they felt that it was impossible. But is Lu Rulon hiding in this place? Is that why the cursed devil saint hasn't found her? Someone suddenly asked, mentioning Lu Rulon's name. If that bitch is hiding in this place, I'll definitely teach her a lesson. It's all that bitch's fault for causing the deaths of our people. Even cutting her into 1,000 pieces wouldn't be too much. Fang Xian was filled with killing intent. The eyes of the other soul race warriors also revealed a malicious glint. It was obvious that they hated Lu Rulon to the core. If not for Lu Rulon, they would not be in such a miserable state. They were forced to hide like stray dogs. Oh, you want to cut me into pieces? I'm right here. If you have the guts, come and find me. At that moment, a figure flew out from the depths of the palace and arrived before Fang Xian and the others. The person who had spoken was none other than Lu Rulon. Xiaoping walked out of the palace and stood next to Lu Rulon. Lu Rulon, you're really hiding in this place, you bitch. Fang Xian's eyes were filled with hatred. She almost could not suppress the anger in her heart. Her body was filled with killing intent, and she wanted to pounce on Lu Rulon and tear her apart. However, before she could attack, her brother, Fang Yang, pulled her hand and spoke through divine sense. Don't be rash. That mysterious person is standing next to Lu Rulon. They seem to know each other. His expression was very solemn. What? At that moment, Fang Xian finally noticed Xiaoping, who was standing next to her. Her head that was filled with hatred immediately calmed down because Xiaoping's deterrence was unparalleled. If this mysterious person was protecting Lu Rulon, it would be useless no matter how angry she was. Moreover, if that mysterious person was enraged, they would all die. Damn it! Why is this bitch with this mysterious person? Did she use her body to make a deal? I knew that there's nothing good about that kind of woman. Fang Xian clenched her teeth. She was very indignant and tried her best to slander them. You're all still alive? I thought you were all dead. How disappointing. Good people don't live long, but scourges live for thousands of years. Lu Rulon said plainly and glanced sideways. What? Hearing this, Fong Xian and the others were immediately enraged and glared at Lu Rulon. This bitch actually dared to say such things. It was this person who caused the death of their people, but she did not feel guilty at all. Instead, she was gloating. If the mysterious person was not standing next to Lu Rulon, they would have torn this woman into pieces. What's wrong? I'm not convinced. You nobles of the Soul Clan treat the people like animals. To survive in front of the demons, you have to bow and scrape. Who knows how many people have been sent out to be eaten by you, but you sing and dance every day, eating fish and meat. You're so happy that you forget home. Lu Rulon laughed coldly. Of course, it's understandable if it's for the survival of the clan. However, you don't have such noble sentiments. It's purely for yourself. When I first came to the Azure Sea realm, I was alone. If I didn't have some skills, I would have been humiliated by you Soul Clan vermin. It's best if scum like you all die so that you don't tarnish the Soul Clan's reputation. She and the Soul Clan of the Azure Sea realm had a grudge against each other. Therefore, the cursed devil saint was dreaming if she thought she could use the lies of the Soul Clan to threaten her. On the contrary, she was still laughing. The more deaths, the better. You, Fong Xian, and the others were infuriated. All right. We're all from the Soul Clan. We're facing a great enemy, so why fight among ourselves? In this time of crisis, we should unite and face the outside world as one. At this moment, Fang Yang stood up and acted as a mediator. He was still afraid that the mysterious person would listen to Lu Rulon and fly into a rage. If that happened, they would be completely finished. Right now, he could only brace himself to stabilize the tense atmosphere at the scene. What do you want? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and looked at a maidservant in blue in the distance. She was hiding sneakily at the side. She took out a transparent pearl and threw it out. The other Soul Clan warriors were also shocked. They did not know why the maidservant, who is usually docile and harmless, would do such a thing. Boom! As soon as the transparent pearl was thrown out, 12 figures flew out from the depths of the pearl. Each figure emitted a terrifying demonic aura that shook the void. Fang Yang and the others felt their hearts tremble. It was as if these figures could communicate with the power of the void in the universe. Crack. Chapter 2041. Thank you so much. Without your help, how could we have entered the Blood Mist Forbidden Land? Indeed, without the help of the Soul Race, I'm afraid we would have been annihilated in the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. As expected of the Forbidden Land set up by the Blood Soul Saint, it is indeed extremely dangerous. It was the right idea to come up with this plan. We can enter the Blood Mist Forbidden Land safely and complete the taskmaster gave us. 12 figures immediately appeared. They were the Monster Kings. They laughed heartily and were in a good mood. They felt that the plan they had come up with was very successful and smooth sailing. They were the Fire Bear King, the Aquatic Rhino King, the Wind Wing King, the Thunder Lion King, and so on. Each of the Demon Kings was far stronger than the monsters they had met before. Xiaoping could sense that these Demon Kings had all reached the Tidal Demon King realm. They were half-step sages. Oh my God, Fire Bear King, Aquatic Rhino King, Wind Wing King, Thunder Lion King. Seeing this, Fang Yang's heart trembled. These are the 12 Tidal Demon Kings under the killing Cursed Demon Saint. Each Demon King is an extremely powerful existence and commands an army. They are extremely powerful. They are only one step away from becoming sages. They are also known as half-step sages. Now all of them have appeared. He could not believe his eyes. Back then, the killing Cursed Demon Saint had annihilated most of the Soul Race's elites and only sent one Tidal Demon King. Now, 12 Tidal Demon Kings had appeared in this place. It was too exaggerated. Shenlong, what did you do? Why did you bring all these Tidal Demon Kings with you? Fang Xian shouted angrily, calling out the name of the blue-robed maid. She was both shocked and angry. Originally, when they hid in the Blood Mist Forbidden Land, they were already safe and sound. They could rest and recuperate in peace, avoiding the pursuit of the demon race. But who would have thought that someone would betray the Soul Race and bring the 12 Tidal Demon Kings with them? They even brought them into the blood-mist forbidden land. Facing these tyrannical titled demon kings, how could they survive? What did I do? Shenlong, the maidservant in blue, sneered, "You can't blame me for this. I'm doing all this just to survive. You want to fight against the demon saint of killing curse with your remnants? You're just daydreaming. The reason why you were able to run so far is not because you're strong or because you're lucky. It's purely because those demons showed mercy and wanted to expel you into the forbidden land of blood souls to test it out. Otherwise, you'd have been long dead." In order to survive, she betrayed the remaining soul race warriors. In any case, when this group of people was alive, they might not have been very good to him. Every man for himself would be destroyed by heaven and earth. You, Fong Xin, and the others were filled with regret. If they had known that this blue-clothed maid was a traitor, they would have killed her back then. They would not have waited until now and caused such a disaster. Now that 12 titled monster kings had appeared, it was a force that could crush everything. Moreover, they were still in the forbidden land of blood souls. Even if they wanted to escape, it would be impossible. At this moment, they were all in despair. After fleeing for so long, it was all for naught. "Not bad. You've done a good job." The Fire Bear King laughed. "If you work for the demon race, you'll be able to live. If not for you, we wouldn't have been able to enter the forbidden land of blood souls. This is a great contribution. Thank you for the compliment, Lord. This is what I should do." The blue-clothed maid was overjoyed. Damn it! Seeing this scene, Fong Xin and the others were furious. They wanted to kill this maid immediately and tear her into pieces. However, with 12 titled monster kings here, they did not dare to move. After all, they were titled monster kings. They were terrifying existences that far surpassed ordinary monster kings. Any one of them could slaughter an entire world. Who could stop them? Even at the peak of the Qinghai realm, the soul race could not stop a titled monster king. Now that 12 titled monster kings had appeared, how could they fight? They could only wait for death. Lu Rulan, it's been really hard for us to find you. Even if you hide at the ends of the earth, we will still find you. Surrender now. No matter what you do, it's all in vain. The Windwing King looked at Lu Rulan mockingly. This time, their main mission was to capture the saintess of the soul race, Lu Rulan. As for the others, they were just minor details. As long as they could control this saintess of the soul race, it was equivalent to controlling the key inheritance of the Blood Soul Saint. This would be of great benefit to the Death Curse Saint. Lu Rulan sneered and did not speak. "All of you retreat." At this moment, Xiaoping stood out and advised with good intentions. "If you leave now, you still have a chance to live. Otherwise, you so-called titled monster kings will meet your end." "It's this damned human. It's him. He killed many of our elites from the Death Curse army. Damn it. If it wasn't for Master's plan, we would have jumped out and killed him. How could we let so many of our brothers die? Now, this brat still dares to jump out. He's courting death." Seeing Xiaoping appear in this place, many of the titled monster kings were furious. They recognized this human and wanted nothing more than to crush his bones and scatter his ashes. Previously, when they saw Xiaoping slaughter the elites of the Death Curse army, they were so angry that their teeth itched. They wanted nothing more than to jump out and fight with this human. However, in order to enter the blood mist forbidden land and deceive this group of soul race warriors, they endured it. Now this brat actually dared to jump out again and appear in front of them. How could this be? They could not tolerate it at all. Kill. The Windwing King's speed was the fastest. His body emitted a terrifying, murderous intent. He controlled the airflow of heaven and earth and flapped his wings. In an instant, he appeared in front of Xiaoping. Bloodline Mystique, endless wind blade. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In an instant, tens of thousands of wind blades appeared in midair. Countless airflows condensed together, containing a terrifying cold light. It was as if a peerless swordsman had released a sword aura that was indestructible. The ground was also cut by the wind blades, tearing the ground into countless pieces. There were densely packed marks everywhere. These wind blades even quickly gathered together, forming the only wind blade between heaven and earth. It was as if a peerless swordsman's frightening blade had split the heaven and earth apart. Most importantly, the speed of this move was very fast. It was so fast that divine senses could not detect it. This was because the Wind Wing King was one of the fastest titled monster kings. The bloodline mystique that it used was even faster. Often, the enemy did not know what was going on and was already beheaded. Chapter 2042. Stupid human. Let's see if he still dares to be so arrogant. Before, this guy killed some elites from the Curse Killer army and became so arrogant. But he doesn't know that the difference between a titled demon king and the other demon kings is like a chasm. They can't be compared at all. That's right. The Wind Wing King is the king of speed. He's so fast that I'm scared. Whoever he wants to kill, no one can live. Now that he's the first to attack, this human is dead for sure. This human's strength is not bad, but he can't compare to us titled demon kings. It's over. The battle will be over in the blink of an eye. He's just a small human. How can he fight against us demon kings? He's just relying on numbers and treasures. The titled demon king's expressions were very calm. They chatted casually and didn't care about Xiaoping at all. They thought that the Wind Wing King could end this kid's life. But at this time, Xiaoping attacked. He stepped forward and punched, shaking and exploding. This was a simple straight punch without any fancy moves. But it was horrifying. Suddenly, the sky shook and the ground shook. It was as if a god elephant had appeared behind him. It stood tall and gave off the terrifying aura of a chaotic god demon. Dong! When the surrounding wind blades felt the fist energy, they were instantly shattered into pieces like glass. The huge wind blade was instantly shattered into pieces. Crackling sounds could be heard from the surroundings, as if space itself was shattering. Not good. The Wind Wing King's hair stood on end, and his expression changed. He could feel the terror of this punch. It contained endless fist power and the laws of heaven and earth. It was fierce and unparalleled. It was as if a peerless emperor had descended. He gave off an unstoppable aura. If the emperor wanted his subjects to die, the subjects had to die. He tried to flap his wings and escape quickly, but it was too late. The power of the fist power was actually faster than his speed. He couldn't react at all. Boom! In the next second, his body was hit by the fist. His huge body was easily penetrated by the fist. Large amounts of blood sprayed out like a fountain. Although he was fast, his body was as weak as paper. Facing such a fist power, he couldn't block it at all. No! Save me, brother! Save me! The Wind Wing King let out a mournful scream, like a pig being slaughtered. He desperately begged for help, hoping that the other 11 titled demon kings would act quickly and save him. However, the speed of the fist force was too fast. It was so fast that even the titled beast kings could react. The other titled beast kings were all dumbfounded. They were still watching the show, not knowing what was going on. No matter how shrill the Wind Wing King's cries were, it was of no use. Its body was destroyed by the terrifying fist energy. In merely a short moment, its body exploded like a balloon and transformed into a ball of mush. Moreover, even its soul core was shattered into pieces, and it perished on the spot. Seeing this scene, Fong Xin and the others were shocked. That was a titled demon king, a peerless and invincible powerhouse, the strongest powerhouse below the sages, but now it was destroyed by a single punch from this human. Isn't this a little too exaggerated? Now, who was the real titled monster king? All right, let's kill one first. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back, casting a sidelong glance at them. You still have 11 titled demon kings. Which one of you dares to come up and throw your lives away? I can fulfill your wishes one by one and send you all to hell together with the Wind Wing King. He spoke provocatively, wanting to challenge these titled demon kings one by one and have a fair fight. Who's going first? Go F***CK yourself. Do you think we'll fight you one-on-one? Go to hell, human. You actually dared to kill the Wind Wing King. We will definitely not rest until you die. You're dead meat, human. Even if it's the heavens or the earth, no one can save you. All the titled demon kings were furious. They glared at Xiaoping with murderous intent. This brat had a good idea. He still wanted to fight them one-on-one. This was simply a fool's dream. They wanted to gang up on this human and completely destroy him. Boom! In an instant, these titled demon kings immediately moved. They used all kinds of techniques and attacked in all directions. Some of them had flames that were tens of thousands of feet long. They used a sea of fire that surged forward violently, causing waves of air to surge. Some of them controlled a black flood that was tens of thousands of feet long. Some of them used lightning, which fell down like raindrops. They covered the sky and covered the earth. There was nowhere to hide. These titled demon kings all activated the power of heaven and earth to seal the void. They surrounded Xia Ping from all directions, not allowing this human to escape. They're angry. 11 titled demon kings are completely enraged. This mysterious man is really scary. He killed a titled demon king in an instant. What kind of strength does he have? Who cares how strong he is? Let's just hurry up and run. This mysterious man will help us block these titled demon kings. Run? This is the blood mist forbidden ground. Where can we run to? Fang Yang and the rest were discussing. Seeing such a battle, they were dumbfounded. They wanted to run, but this was the blood mist forbidden ground. There was nowhere to run. Moreover, a battle of this level was incomparably terrifying. Even if they wanted to interfere, they wouldn't be able to. If they dared to get close, they would die. They were nothing but cannon fodder. You don't even dare to fight one-on-one. What kind of titled demon king are you? You actually dare to gang up on me? Don't blame me then. Come out, Star Destroyer sword. In an instant, Xia Ping grabbed out with his hand and took out a low-grade sacred weapon, Star Destroyer sword. So, with a wave of his hand, he infused his magic power into the sword. The entire Star Destroyer sword trembled and exploded with countless starlight. Just like that, he slashed down at the group of titled demon kings. As the sword slashed down, the heavens and the earth shook. Immediately, countless blue sword lights exploded. Star runes quickly formed within the sword. Every star rune swallowed the power of the stars in the depths of the void. Then they turned into huge stars. Tens of thousands of stars fell from the sky. The entire world was filled with the sound of the apocalypse. The group of titled demon kings was completely enveloped by the stars, sealing the sky and locking the earth. He actually has a low-grade sacred weapon. Many titled demon kings were shocked. They didn't expect this human to have a sacred weapon. One had to know that a human with a sacred weapon and a human without one were two completely different things. A sacred weapon could increase the combat power of a Thunder Tribulation Realm expert by several times. Even a titled demon king couldn't compare. Dong, dong, dong. With just one strike, the attacks of these titled demon kings were all destroyed. One after another, the magic arrays were turned into dust. The huge stars smashed onto their bodies. Immediately, these titled monster kings let out shrill screams. The skin on their bodies burst open, and fresh blood gushed out as if it was free. Their internal organs were all severely injured. Even the terrifying energy of the stars emitted a cold air that invaded their bodies. It wanted to completely freeze the primordial spirits of these titled demon kings. Not good. Hurry and ask the master to come over. Chapter 2043. Boom. The Fire Bear King immediately took out a black talisman from his body. There was a skull symbol on it, and it emitted a deep, terrifying, and strange aura that made people shudder. The Fire Bear King activated his magic power and immediately burned the black talisman. It turned into a wisp of black smoke and quickly merged into the depths of the void. It was transmitted to the killing cursed demon Saint in another corner of the Qinghai realm. In an instant, the killing cursed demon Saint seemed to have received this message. It opened its eyes, and a wisp of divine consciousness instantly descended into the depths of the blood mist forbidden land. A terrifying pressure filled the surroundings. Oh no, they actually contacted the killing cursed demon Saint. We are completely finished. Seeing this, Fang Yang and the others felt bitter and hopeless. Just the 12 titled demon kings were enough to kill them countless times. Now, even the killing cursed demon Saint had appeared. This was simply not giving them a way out. Although the killing, cursed demon saint's real body had not come to this place, they could feel the terrifying divine consciousness that was everywhere in the depths of the void. This was the difference in the nature of life. They were not even of the same species. They simply wanted to crawl down. They could not face such a terrifying existence at all. You actually used a cursed talisman? To inform me, have you completed the mission? A deep voice came from the depths of the void. Master, the plan was very successful. We entered the depths of the blood mist forbidden land, and even found the saintess of the soul race, Lu Rulon. However, we have encountered a small problem. Sensing the killing cursed demon saint's divine consciousness, the Firebear King and the other titled demon kings immediately became respectful, not daring to overstep. Small problem? I see. There is also a human in the Thunder Tribulation realm with a low-grade divine weapon. Is he the one who blocked you and prevented you from completing the mission? The cursed demon saint's divine sense circulated in the void, sweeping in all directions. In an instant, he knew what had happened, as clear as a blazing fire. Yes, it's this human. He is very powerful and has a divine weapon. We are no match for him. The Firebear King and the other titled demon kings were very unwilling. They felt that this was an extremely embarrassing matter, but they still told the truth about their predicament. Human. The demon saint of the killing curse's voice rang out, targeting Xia Ping. I'll only give you one chance, just one. Immediately kneel and surrender, crawl on the ground like a dog, and you'll live. If you continue to resist stubbornly and try to provoke us, then you will suffer a fate worse than death today. Even your family and friends will be captured and executed. Its tone was very indifferent, without any killing intent. It was merely stating a fact. Many titled demon kings looked at the human in front of them mockingly. They were calm and composed. Even if this human had a divine artifact in front of an immortal demon saint, he was just an ant, not worth mentioning. With the support of an immortal bee-sage, they had nothing to fear. Boom! As soon as the sound of his voice faded, Xia Ping made his move. The Star Destroyer's sword in his hand slashed out, instantly unleashing a terrifying sword chi that resembled the trajectories of starlight, beautiful and resplendent, yet containing a terrifying killing intent. At this moment, it was as if the entire sky had turned into a dark, starry sky. The stars shone resplendently and swayed. What? The Firebear King and the other titled demon king's hair stood on end, their bodies trembling. They could feel the terror of this sword. The omnipresent killing intent caused the surrounding void to tremble, unceasingly slicing the space and enveloping the surroundings. This sword had already locked on to their aura and primordial spirit. No matter how fast they were, no matter where they fled to, they could not avoid the attack of this sword. Ant, how dare you? Seeing this scene, the killing cursed demon saint of the killing curse was enraged. It was simply furious. It was unknown how many years had passed. Ever since it advanced to an immortal beast sage, it had an endless lifespan. It had always been high and mighty. Facing these mortals, it had always treated them like a god, not putting these mortals in its eyes at all. As long as it gave an order, billions of living beings would have to bow down, and rivers of blood would flow. But now, not only did this lowly and insignificant human not listen to its orders, he even dared to attack its loyal subordinates right in front of its face. He wanted to kill people in front of it. This was simply slapping its face, slapping it, spitting on it. This was completely trampling its dignity as a demon saint into the ground, and it was even trampling on it. Boom! A terrifying aura was brewing in the depths of the void. The heaven and earth shook. The space trembled, as if the heaven and earth were angry. The entire Azure Sea realm was tumbling, and thousands of volcanoes were erupting. This was the anger of an immortal beast sage. However, it was already too late. It was still a certain distance away from the blood mist forbidden land. Even though it was an immortal beast sage, it needed a certain amount of time to cross such a long distance. However, during this period of time, rays of star-like sword chi swept down from the sky, blasting at these titled demon kings. The terrifying sword chi instantly erupted. Dong dong dong. In the next second, the Fire Bear King and the other titled Demon Kings did not know what had happened. Their eyes widened, and with a poochie sound, their heads were sent flying, splashing a pile of blood. At the same time, the primordial spirits within their bodies were instantly sliced into pieces. 11 titled Demon Kings were killed by Xia Ping with one sword. Not a single one was left alive. The ground was littered with the corpses of the titled Demon Kings. They were simply dismembered. Fang Yang and the others were dumbfounded. They did not expect this mysterious person to be so daring. He killed 12 titled Demon Kings right in front of the killing cursed Demon Sage. Wasn't this an insult to the killing cursed Demon Sage and a slap to its face? They could not imagine what kind of mortal would be so insolent as to slap a Demon Sage's face. He must be tired of living. Human, how dare you? Seeing this scene, the killing cursed Demon Sage flew into a rage. An unprecedented anger surged from the depths of its heart. If its anger could condense into a substance and turn into the power of a sacred art, the entire Azure Sea realm would probably be burned to ashes by its anger. A mere mortal actually dared to kill 12 of its elite subordinates right in front of it. This was simply slapping its face to death. It could not imagine such a thing happening. This mortal was simply tired of living. You're dead. Even if you go up into the sky or down into the sea, no one can save you. I'm going to extract your soul and expose it to the endless abyss for 30,000 years. I'm going to make you wish you were dead. I'm going to exterminate your entire family. The killing cursed Demon Sage roared angrily. Like thunder, the entire sky of the Azure Sea realm seemed to be torn apart. Dong. Chapter 2044. An old man in a black robe appeared in front of everyone. He looked like a human old man. His skin was dry and seemed to be devoid of water. He looked like a mummy. A skull-like black inscription appeared between his brows. It seemed to contain a dark world deep within the inscription, absorbing countless souls and vengeful spirits in this universe. His entire body was emitting a dark curse aura. The old man stood in midair and looked down emotionlessly. He was like the incarnation of the Grim Reaper, a peerless demon that walked out from the depths of the darkness. He represented curse, darkness, and death. Killing cursed Demon Sage, Fang Yang and the others were speechless. The moment the old man appeared, the surrounding void was filled with an inexplicable aura. It was oppressive, despairing, and dark. Even when the soul race was destroyed, the killing cursed Demon Sage's main body did not appear. It only sent a strand of its consciousness over. But now, not only had its consciousness come, its real body had come as well. One could imagine how angry the killing cursed Demon Sage was. The killing cursed Demon Sage looked down at Fang Yang and the others. It was just a glance. Dong. In an instant, Fang Yang, Fang Xin, and the other soul race warriors, as well as the blue-clothed maid, exploded and turned into meat paste. They couldn't even struggle. Just a single glance was enough to shatter their souls from the inside out. They were pitiful. They had fled for God knows how long and painstakingly arrived at the blood-mist forbidden land. They thought that they could survive, but they still died. They were killed by the killing cursed Demon Sage with just a glance. Clearly, Fang Yang and the others were still useful before. But now that they had entered the depths of the blood-mist forbidden land, they were useless. To vent its anger, the killing cursed Demon Sage killed them with a glare. Even if the blue-clothed maid was its subordinate. To the killing cursed Demon Sage, it did not matter how many mortals died. Human, you have angered me. How do you want to die? The killing cursed Demon Sage stared at Xia Ping arrogantly. The way it looked at him was like it was looking at ants that it had killed with a glare. It did not care about Xia Ping at all. That was to be expected. After all, it was an immortal demon sage with an endless lifespan. How could mere mortals compare? It didn't know how many criminals like this it had killed. You're the cursed demon saint? Xia Ping blinked his eyes and remained unmoved. Why you look so weak? You don't seem as powerful as I imagined. He had seen sages before, such as his own master, the North Sea Sage. His aura was boundless and unfathomable, just like the universe itself. Even though Dumbo Gaia had just advanced to the immortal rank, her magic power was vast and boundless. There was no end to it at all. It was like an abyss that was unbelievably dense. However, although the demon saint of the killing curse in front of him was also very powerful, far surpassing the title Demon King, in his perception, it was not invincible. It was not to the extent that he could not defeat it with just a glance. Weak. Hearing this, the cursed killing holy beast was enraged. It laughed in anger. You're just an ant, yet you dare to say such big words. It seems that you don't know how terrifying a saint is. Today I'll show you. Killing you is as easy as killing a chicken. Boom. As soon as it finished speaking, it immediately attacked with a palm that could topple mountains and overturn seas. It was as if this palm encompassed the entire world, and the chi of heaven and earth within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers was grasped in its hand. Then, a huge amount of chi rapidly condensed, turning into a huge millstone. Countless sage rank talismans? They were engraved deep within the millstone, emitting an immortal and sacred aura. This millstone was extremely fast. Under the cursed killing holy beast's control, it bombarded down from mid-air as if it was going to flatten the entire world and completely destroy it. Divine elephant supporting the heavens. Xiaoping's thoughts moved, and a universal Dharma idol immediately flew out from his body. It was a divine elephant, as if it was a demon god that walked out from the ancient times. It emitted a terrifying aura. Its body was covered in densely packed divine elephant runes. Its body was huge, and its aura was terrifying. It fearlessly charged towards the huge millstone, just like that. Dong! Immediately, a huge sound was heard in midair. The indestructible, huge Yuan Qi millstone was immediately stopped by the divine elephant's power. No matter how huge the millstone was, it could not shatter the divine elephant's body. The ground was also shaken, and a deep crater of several hundred kilometers appeared, emitting cracking sounds. So powerful. Lu Rulan's beautiful eyes widened. She felt the powerful air currents nearby, each of which could turn into a storm. She quickly retreated, avoiding the center of the battle between the two to avoid being implicated. She looked at Xia Ping in disbelief, even though she knew that Xia Ping's strength far surpassed title Demon Kings. Otherwise, he would not have been able to kill title Demon Kings as if they were chickens. However, being able to stop an attack from an immortal saint still shocked her. If this matter was spread out, the entire universe would definitely be shaken. Using Thunder Calamity to fight an immortal saint was simply shocking. As expected, this power is only SOSO. Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. He sensed the immortal saint's power slightly, and it was only on par with him. It did not surpass him by too much. In fact, he did not even know how powerful he was. First, his soul power. After absorbing the soul energy of countless living beings, his primordial spirit power was extremely powerful, far surpassing title Demon Kings. It was probably comparable to an immortal saint. Next was magic power. He cultivated the Panwu True Scripture and opened up 9 purple palace spaces. The area of each purple palace space was 100 times larger than ordinary cultivators. This way, the magic power in his body was naturally hundreds or even thousands of times more than ordinary cultivators. His magic power was unimaginably dense. Moreover, his body contained the infernal Golden Crow bloodline, which had already awakened 550 million bloodlines. His physique had been strengthened to an unimaginable level, and he already had the embryonic form of a mythical creature. With these advantages stacking up, he could sweep away all Thunder Calamity Realm experts. In terms of strength and magic power, he was not inferior to ordinary immortal saints. Bastard damned ant. However, the killing cursed demon's saint did not know this. It only felt humiliated, extremely humiliated, and its face turned red. As an immortal saint, it was extremely powerful, far surpassing mortals. Yet a casual attack from it could not kill this mortal. This was a great humiliation. If his gang of scoundrels found out about this and knew that he couldn't even kill a mortal with a single strike, they would definitely mock him for being so weak. Such a humiliating matter would cause it to be shamed for hundreds of millions of years. Chapter 2045. Mortal, go to hell. Cursed Demon Palm. The cursed demon saint roared angrily and attacked again. This time was enraged. It was no longer a casual test. Instead, it unleashed a thunderous attack, and palm prints appeared in midair. In an instant, hundreds and thousands of giant palm prints appeared in midair. Each palm print was engraved with dense inscriptions, like the giant palm of heaven. The power contained in each palm was enough to shatter a planet and create mountains and rivers. Under Xiaoping's perception, there seemed to be tadpole-like runes wriggling in the depths of each palm, emitting dense demonic qi that was filled with a destructive aura. Any rune that landed had the power to shatter mountains and rivers. Countless tadpole-like runes overlapped, increasing the destructive power to an extreme level. It was as if it controlled the power of the universe's origin, turning into a dominator that could destroy everything. Too strong. Is this the power of an immortal demon saint? Lu Rilon saw this scene from afar and felt shocked. She had never seen an immortal demon saint in action and had no idea how strong an immortal demon saint was. Even when the cursed demon saint chased after her last time, she could only escape quickly and did not have the chance to face it directly. But now, she saw an immortal-level demon saint in action. It was indeed extraordinary. With one palm, the entire Azure Sea realm would probably tremble. This was a sage that dominated the universe, an existence like a nuclear weapon. Thousand-armed Buddha. Xiaoping was not afraid. Another Dharma form appeared on his body, the thousand-armed Buddha. It immediately emitted a dazzling golden light that seemed to pierce through the surrounding darkness and welcome light. It stretched out 3,000 dark golden palms, on which dense Buddhist runes appeared. It was as if it was a supreme Buddhist scripture, containing the terrifying power of Buddha. Vaguely, the Sanskrit voice of countless Buddhas could be heard from the depths of the void. All kinds of strange phenomena appeared and lotus flowers bloomed. It sat in the void and blasted out 3,000 palms at the same time. It seemed to represent 3,000 worlds. Each dark golden palm had the power to tear through the void. It was extremely terrifying. Palm against palm, brute force against brute force, magical power against magical power. Dong, dong, dong. The two forces collided with each other like countless planets colliding. Immediately, there was a world-shaking sound. Explosions rang out, and countless balls of yuan qi were shattered. The surrounding ground seemed to have been turned upside down. The surrounding restrictive arrays were completely destroyed. It was as if two immortal-level sages were fighting to the death. Damn, Dant, you actually dare to block me? Why? Why don't you just die? Why don't you just die? Why? The killing cursed demon saint flew into a rage and became even angrier. Previously, it could forget about the fact that its casual attack was blocked by this lowly mortal. But now, its all-out attack was blocked by this mortal with ease. How could there be such a ridiculous thing in the world? Was he still immortal? Killing Curse Heaven Fist. The demon saint of the killing curse was enraged. It once again used another peerless divine ability. The countless palm prints in the air seemed to converge, clenching into huge fists. At this moment, all the magical powers seemed to be converged and compressed into a ball. A destructive power spread out from the depths of the fists. Each black fist seemed to be wrapped by runes that were like poisonous snakes. Countless black runes formed orderly chains that wrapped around the fists. It seemed as if all the darkness, evil, curses, and other auras in the world were concentrated in the depths of the fists and compressed crazily. Once the fists were launched, the evil power in the depths of the fists would instantly explode. It could instantly kill the enemy and corrode their souls, pulling them into the abyss world and contaminating them into evil creatures. Rumble, in an instant, hundreds and thousands of black fists bombarded down from the sky. They were like demons walking out of chaos, piercing through space and cleansing the land. The surrounding space was filled with an evil aura. It was as if the surrounding hundreds of millions of kilometers had turned into a dark, demonic domain. Countless demons, ghosts, and vengeful spirits seemed to fly out from the dimensional spaces that had been torn apart in the surroundings. Thousand-eyed demon. Xiaoping was unmoved. Another heaven and earth dharma idol appeared on his body. It was a demon that had walked out from the depths of hell. It had 3,000 eyes on its body. Every eye that opened seemed to represent a kind of sin. Its body was filled with the aura of sin, hell, chaos, massacre, and other things. It was as if it was an amalgamation of all the sins in the world. It was a completely different kind of power from the thousand-armed Buddha. It was purely born for destruction and massacre. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, the demon opened its eyes. All 3,000 eyes shot out beams of dim light. Each beam of dim light seemed to be able to penetrate the 9 serenities of hell and contain terrifying destructive power. 3,000 beams of dim light blasted out at the same time. They covered the sky and earth and collided with the black fists. Rumble, the two forces collided again. The power of hell and the power of the dark curse collided and destroyed each other. It was as if poisonous snakes were tearing each other apart. Sin and darkness were entangled, and neither could do anything to the other. After another breath, the two forces disappeared again and destroyed each other. Damn it! You can actually resist my killing curse, heavenly fist. Mortal, where did you come from? The killing curse demon sage widened its eyes in disbelief. If it was before, it might have thought that this kid was just lucky. However, now that he could even resist the killing curse heavenly fist, it was not as simple as luck. This was definitely strength, because even a powerful existence like the immortal demon sage would need to expend a lot of energy to resist this punch. If they were not careful, they would be corroded by the killing curse, heavenly fist's curse aura, and their soul would be polluted. Between sages, the soul was the most important thing. There must be no accidents. Therefore, the killing curse demon sage could run amok among the immortal demon sages and make countless sages afraid. However, this little mortal could actually resist the power of its killing curse heavenly fist. Moreover, he was just a Thunder Tribulation realm ant. This was simply unheard of. I will not change my name or my surname. I am unrivaled Wu of the human race. Xiaoping shouted and rushed forward, brazenly attacking the demon saint of killing curse. Another heaven and earth avatar appeared on his body. It was a primordial heavenly dragon. It roared in the depths of the void and let out an earth-shattering dragon roar. The terrifying power of the heavenly dragon resided in his fist. In an instant, he seemed to have transformed into a primordial heavenly dragon. He circulated the power of the primordial heavenly dragon and punched out, tearing the sky. Bastard Ant. Chapter 2046. Heavenly Incantation. The killing curse demon sage formed a seal with both hands, and countless demon sage runes appeared on its body. Huge energy quickly condensed, and a huge energy shield immediately appeared in front of its body. Black tadpole-like runes appeared in the depths of this energy shield. They contained powerful defensive power and seemed to be able to isolate all magical powers. Whoosh! However, at that moment, Xiaoping's figure flashed, and in a zigzagging trajectory, he instantly teleported behind the killing curse demon sage. What? The killing curse demon sage was shocked. It did not expect this human to be proficient in spatial power. Before it could react, Xiaoping's fist blasted over like the roar of a heavenly dragon. It was the attack of an ancient heavenly dragon. Dong! The fist smashed into the killing curse demon sage's back, and a terrifying force erupted in an instant, sending the killing curse demon sage flying and smashing through several buildings. Its body was instantly shattered into 2 pieces. If it was an ordinary cultivator, they would have died after this attack. However, it was an immortal sage, and these injuries were not fatal. Rumble, in an instant, the 2 pieces of flesh wriggled and gathered together, returning to the killing curse demon sage's original body. Its aura did not weaken at all. It stared at Xia Ping with a gloomy expression. No one could imagine the anger in the killing, cursed demon sage's heart at that moment. As a dignified, immortal-level demon saint, facing a lowly human, he was actually hit by a punch and even split his body into two. This was simply a great humiliation. This was something unheard of. I see. Is this the immortal body? It's indeed terrifying. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. Just now, he almost thought that he had succeeded and could kill a saint. However, he soon realized that he was thinking too much. The other party was a terrifying existence with an undying body. How could it be killed so easily? For a sage of this level, even if he pierced through the other party's hands, feet, head, heart, and other places, he would not die. Even if only one cell was left, it could be reborn. I admit that I underestimated you just now. The killing, cursed demon sage's expression was gloomy. But from now on, I will let you clearly understand what terror is, what darkness is, and what death is. At this moment, it was truly enraged. A terrifying killing intent gushed out from the depths of its heart. It could be said that it had never wanted to kill a mortal as much as it did at this moment. Because this mortal really had the power to threaten it. It raised the threat of this human in front of it to an unprecedented level, treating him as its mortal enemy. The cycle of the heavens, karma, the void of the nine hells, the curse code. With a loud boom, it made a grabbing motion and immediately took out a mid-grade holy artifact, the Curse Codex. It was a completely black book with dense black talisman markings inscribed on it. They were wriggling like tadpoles, and they emitted the aura of darkness, evil, curses, netherworld, and so on and so forth. It was as if this book had collected countless ghosts and vengeful spirits. It contained a terrifying aura of resentment and hatred, as if it was the most evil thing in the world, causing one's heart to tremble. This was a mid-grade saint artifact that the demon sage of the killing curse had spent hundreds of millions of years collecting countless rare materials from across the universe. Then, he had fused all of his abilities, as well as smelting the power of the netherworld, the power of resentment, the power of the abyss, and other dark energies to refine this mid-grade saint artifact. Its power was extremely terrifying. It could be said that this was a book of curses. Once this book was used, it would be able to kill people from a distance and place the curse on the enemy. It would be able to kill people from hundreds of millions of kilometers away without leaving a trace and destroy their souls. Moreover, the power of this curse was formless and invisible. It could penetrate the soul and was impossible to guard against. It was one of the most evil and terrifying powers in the universe. Although it was only a mid-grade holy artifact, in terms of attack power, it was at least equivalent to the power of a high-grade holy artifact. With this magic treasure, the demon sage of the killing curse was simply invincible. Master, be careful. When the green ox saw the divine ability that the demon sage of the killing curse cast, his expression changed drastically. It's actually the curse code. This is one of the most terrifying and strange divine abilities of the many demonic divine abilities. It can kill people from a distance. The straw curse is extremely strange and mysterious. It is almost impossible to restrain or guard against. It is a peerless secret technique used to scheme against people. It is extremely difficult to successfully cultivate. I didn't expect the demon sage of the killing curse to have condensed the cursed divine ability and even refined it into a curse code. If one is hit by this curse secret technique, their soul will probably weaken and they will die. Even if they are lucky enough to survive, they will trigger their inner demons. Then, they will deteriorate and have bad luck. Even immortal-level demon sages are extremely afraid of the cursed divine ability. It is called a forbidden divine ability. It meant that even among the human race, the cursed divine ability was also a strange divine ability that caused fear. Even among demonic organizations, there were not many who had mastered the cursed divine ability. Not to mention, the power of the cursed divine ability was simply unimaginable when it was raised to the immortal level. It could sense the aura of death from this mid-grade holy artifact. It was extremely dangerous. Boom! As soon as it finished speaking, the demon sage of the killing curse made its move. It infused its magic power into it and bit its tongue at the same time, spitting a mouthful of blood on the curse code. In order to activate this mid-grade holy artifact and trigger the power of the curse, it would need to consume a large amount of its own blood essence. It was just like the Seven Injuries fist. Therefore, unless it was a last resort, the demon sage of the killing curse didn't want to use this move. It would greatly damage its own vitality and damage its foundation. But now it had to use it. It must kill this damn human. Immediately obtaining the huge blood essence energy of the killing cursed demon sage, this book opened, blooming with endless light, and wisps of curse power permeated the void. What? Xiaoping's eyes showed a trace of cold light. He felt that this curse power was invisible. Even the Dark North body protection, art couldn't resist it. It directly penetrated the heart and entered the depths of the soul. The 9 purple mansion spaces in his body were immediately surrounded by wisps of dark and evil aura. It seemed that the entire sea of consciousness had dimmed and was eroded by the curse power. Vaguely, the 9 heaven and earth laws on his body were also wrapped by wisps of curse power. Like chains of order, the 9 heaven and earth laws were tied up. Suddenly, Xiaoping felt that his mood was extremely irritable. It seemed that the inner demons deep in his body had been lured out, and there were signs of qi deviation. Even these curse power penetrated his internal organs, penetrated his limbs and bones, and quickly drilled into every cell in his body like poisonous insects. Chapter 2047. Haha, foolish mortal. Even if you're an immortal sage, you'll suffer great damage to your vitality after being hit by my curse power. Your soul will weaken, and you'll die of decay. No matter how powerful you are, you can't stop the curse power. However, I won't be careless anymore. This time, I'll use all my strength to completely destroy your primordial spirit. I'll make you sink forever and never be able to reincarnate. The killing curse demon saint sneered. It formed a seal with both hands and chanted a powerful curse incantation. I curse you to perish and never be able to reincarnate. I curse you to sink into hell and never be able to reincarnate. I curse you to perish and die of old age. I curse you to have bad luck and to be alone. Incantations were chanted one after another. Vaguely, the void trembled, as if the primordial curse god was chanting, triggering the curse power in the depths of the void. In the blink of an eye, these incantations turned into strands of gray curse power, drilling into the depths of Xiaoping's sea of consciousness and seeping into his soul. Dong! Xiaoping's body shook. His primordial spirit seemed to be engraved with a curse imprint by the killing curse demon saint. The curse power in the depths of his body erupted violently. At this moment, the powerful curse power wreaked havoc in his body. Massive gray gas seeped into every cell in his body, devouring the energy in his body like a devil. Rumble, at this critical moment, the infernal golden crow bloodline in Xiaoping's body trembled. Stimulated by the curse power, strands of infernal golden crow flames rose from the depths of his blood. In an instant, his entire body was wrapped by the infernal golden crow flames, as if he had turned into a burning man. Every drop of his blood turned into scorching flames. In fact, the dark golden flames transformed into numerous divine birds that devoured the curse power that had entered Xiaoping's body. They devoured the curse power, then refined it. One had to know that the infernal golden crow flames were terrifying flames born from the depths of hell. They represented the true essence of hell, a terrifying energy that could devour all evil and sin in the world. Even though the power of the curse was extremely strong and strange, formless and traceless. Normal people would be helpless against this kind of power, but for the Hell Golden Crow Fire, this was just a normal wave of dark energy. Therefore, it was simply a pipe dream for the Demon Saint of Curses to try and kill Xiaoping with the power of curses. Sizzle. Immediately, the power of the curse that was entangled in the depths of Xiaoping's soul was burned to ashes by the flames of the golden crow of hell, turning into wisps of black smoke. The black smoke also came out of the 108,000 pores on his body, and the ground was also filled with the black curse power. It actually corroded the ground into shocking holes, and countless restrictive spell formations were destroyed. What is this? Xiaoping's heart skipped a beat. After the infernal golden crow flames had refined most of the curse power in his body, there were still drops of black liquid left behind. This seemed to be the essence of the curse power. Countless liquids condensed, forming a fist-sized water ball. This was all the curse power gathered by Demon Saint of the Curse, and it emitted a sinister, strange, and terrifying aura. Halala, right at this moment, a divine ability talisman in the depths of his body seemed to have sensed this pure curse power. It suddenly flew out and immediately swallowed this ball of curse power. Head-piercing 7 arrows technique. Xiaoping immediately sensed that this divine ability talisman was from a peerless cultivation method that he had previously cultivated. Head-piercing 7 arrows technique. This was a peerless secret technique with infinite power. It seemed that it itself was a curse secret technique that could kill people invisibly, and it could kill enemies from thousands of miles away. Originally, he had almost forgotten this peerless cultivation method, but this divine ability talisman now sensed that there was a huge amount of curse power, and it actually flew out of its own accord and swallowed a large amount of curse power. Rumble, Xiaoping sensed that after this divine ability talisman swallowed a large amount of curse power, it was actually transforming at a speed visible to the naked eye. After absorbing a large amount of curse power, countless inscriptions quickly condensed in the depths of the talisman. It seemed that this peerless divine ability had also undergone earth-shaking changes. He felt that this talisman had transformed into a black state, and the depths of the talisman had turned into a dark vortex. A faint power came from the depths of the talisman, and it seemed to be able to communicate with the power of the ghosts and gods in the world. There was no doubt that this was a cursed talisman, and it contained the cursed power of the ghosts and gods in the world. It was extremely tyrannical. Dong! Xiaoping grabbed with his big hand, and a huge amount of cursed power seeped out of the depths of the talisman and suddenly condensed into a black dagger, which was entwined with cursed runes, exuding a gloomy and evil aura, which made people tremble. He felt that after absorbing this pure curse power, his head-piercing 7 arrows technique seemed to have been elevated to an incredible realm, and its power was infinite. How is this possible? Damn Ant, what have you done? Where is the curse power entwined in your body? What method did you use to remove my curse? The demon saint of killing curse couldn't believe its eyes. With his curse magic, it was simply unstoppable. For many years, it had never encountered a worthy opponent. But now it was actually ineffective against this little mortal. The huge curse power entwined in the other party's body had disappeared completely. No, not only did it disappear, but seemed to have been swallowed by the other party and taken as its own. This was simply ridiculous, too ridiculous. What kind of person had the ability to take the curse power as his own and even devour it? It had never seen such a human. If the curse power had no effect on this human, then it would have wasted a lot of its blood essence and lost its lifespan. Wouldn't that be useless? The demon saint of killing curse could not accept this fact at all. Xiaoping did not answer. His face was expressionless, and his eyes were indifferent. He clenched the black dagger tightly, and with a thought, he shot the black dagger toward the demon saint of killing curse. Swoosh! The dagger flew over in the blink of an eye, soundless and stealthy, hidden in the void. Bastard, you still want to fight back? You're dreaming. Impossible. Why can't I block it? Why can't I block it? The demon saint of killing curse roared and wanted to block the dagger. However, it soon discovered that the black dagger contained a strong curse power. It was invisible and instantly penetrated its defense, directly shooting into the depths of its sea of consciousness. Dong! The dagger pierced into its primordial spirit, and the terrifying curse power instantly spread to its soul, turning into terrible, resentful spirits that were tearing at its soul. Chapter 2048. Impossible. The demon saint of the killing curse had gone crazy. How could it not know that it had been cursed by this abominable human, causing its inner demons to multiply and causing it to fall into the hell of the inner demons? The magic power in its body was in disorder, and there were signs of chi deviation. It was mad with anger. This was because it thought that it was an expert in the cursed divine ability. As an immortal demon sage, it was proficient in such a strange, secret technique. It could be regarded as a terrifying existence like its ancestor. It had always been the one cursing others, but no one could curse it. But now, this damned human actually wanted to give it a taste of its own medicine. He even wanted to use the curse technique to kill him. This was simply too arrogant. It had never seen such an abominable human in its life. Endless anger surged in its heart. It could be said that at this moment, it wanted to kill this lowly human more than anyone else. At the same time, a trace of fear surged in its heart, because this black dagger was extremely terrifying. Countless curse runes gathered together, seemingly forming a sin, containing a terrifying, sharp power. If the human in front of it was not a Thunder Tribulation Realm expert, but an immortal sage, this attack would have been enough to destroy its soul completely. In other words, if this human continued to grow, he would definitely become a great enemy of the demon race. This ability was not something a Thunder Tribulation Realm mortal could have. This kid must be a peerless monster of the human race. Dong. Thinking of this, the killing cursed demon sage formed a seal with both hands. It actually chose to self-destruct. Its entire body instantly shattered, and all the power in its body exploded. In the next second, all its flesh and blood condensed again, returning to its original body. What? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He did not expect the killing cursed demon sage to have such a method. In order to get rid of the head-piercing 7 arrows technique's curse power, it chose to self-destruct, shattering its body and curse together, then reassembling and obtaining a new life. It had to be said that this was a move that only an immortal sage could use. However, this also caused the killing cursed demon sage's vitality to be greatly damaged, and a lot of its origin energy was consumed. Despicable human, I must kill you, kill you. The killing cursed demon sage went crazy and chose to give up on cursing this human. This was because it knew that this human had a special ability that allowed him to devour the power of curses. However, even if it did not use its curses, it would still be able to crush this little mortal with its own powers. Xiaoping naturally didn't feel any fear. He went up to fight and fought, displaying Dharma idols one after another. Dong, dong, dong. Suddenly, the 2 balls of energy collided violently in midair. Within a second, they collided thousands of times. It was like 2 planets colliding with each other, causing a huge explosion. The ground was also shaken by the shock waves of this energy, creating huge craters. Gravel flew in all directions, and there were potholes everywhere, just like the surface of the moon. The surrounding ancient palaces and buildings were pulverized by this force. Even though this was the palace that Saint Bloodsoul had constructed back then, the countless years that had passed had caused the restrictive arrays that were set up here to lose their effectiveness. It was no longer as powerful as it was in the past. Therefore, it was impossible to withstand such an intense battle. Almost half of the buildings were destroyed, as if this place had been razed to the ground. Too strong. In the distance, Lu Rulon's beautiful eyes widened. She had long hidden in an extremely sturdy building far away. This was the Inheritance Hall, a palace that Saint Bloodsoul had meticulously refined. Even the power of an ordinary saint would not be able to destroy it. It was the most sturdy building in the Blood Mist Forbidden Land. Therefore, by hiding in this place, she didn't have to worry about being affected. However, seeing such a scene, she was extremely shocked. She didn't expect Xiaoping to be able to fight against an immortal saint to this extent. If news of this were to spread, the universe would definitely be shocked. Aha, it's useless. I'm an immortal saint demon sage with an undying body. No matter how hard you try, you can't kill me or hurt me. Mortal, you're dead. When your powers are exhausted, I'll definitely skin you alive. The killing cursed demon sage laughed wildly. It didn't care about its injuries at all, relying on its undying body. It traded injuries for injuries in an attempt to exhaust a large amount of Xiaoping's powers. It had to admit that this was indeed Xiaoping's weakness. Even if Xiaoping could fight against an immortal saint demon sage now, as time passed, even if he had 9 purple mansion spaces, his powers would quickly be exhausted. After all, an immortal saint was too terrifying. The undying body itself was an unsolvable problem. Moreover, it could communicate with the origin of the universe and absorb the origin energy to quickly recover its powers. When Xiaoping's Fa Li was exhausted, he would be like a turtle in a jar. Do I have to let Dumbo come out to deal with this killing cursed demon sage? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and wanted to let Dumbo come out from its deep sleep. However, he thought about it carefully. Although Dumbo's strength far surpassed this killing cursed demon sage, it was still not enough to kill it. No matter what, this killing cursed demon sage was an immortal saint and had an undying body. Even if it couldn't beat it, it would still be easy to escape. The reason why the killing cursed demon sage was still fighting to the death with him now was because it saw hope of winning. Once little Dumbo Gaia appeared, it would definitely run as fast as it could. However, he was also unwilling to let this killing cursed demon sage escape. This was because an immortal saint demon sage like this was too dangerous, and it was also proficient in curse techniques. If such an enemy was allowed to escape and launch a sneak attack, he would definitely encounter endless trouble. Even the people around him would be killed by this killing cursed demon sage. Therefore, this killing cursed demon sage must die. System, is there any way to kill an immortal saint? Thinking of this, Xiaoping moved his thoughts and asked the system. There are many ways to kill an immortal saint. The system replied, but according to the host's current strength, there is only one way. You can spend 50 hatred crystals to temporarily unlock the first seal of the reincarnation brush. With the power of the reincarnation brush, you can kill an immortal saint and completely destroy the other party's true spirit. 50 hatred crystals, and it's a temporary unsealing? Isn't it permanent? Xiaoping's heart ached. He didn't know how much effort it would take to get 50 hatred crystals. Moreover, this was a one-time cleansing, not a permanent unsealing. Host, do you want to spend 50 hatred crystals to temporarily unlock the first seal of the reincarnation brush? The system said, completely ignoring Xiaoping's complaints. It was just a routine. Unlock. A cold light flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. Although 50 hatred crystals were a lot, letting a powerful enemy like the killing cursed demon sage escape was the real trouble. He wouldn't be able to sleep or eat in peace. There had always been a saying that one could be a thief for 1,000 days, but there was no such thing as guarding against a thief for 1,000 days. Chapter 2049. While talking to the system, Xiaoping did not stop. He punched and hit the killing cursed demon saint's head. Its head immediately shattered like a watermelon. But in the next second, its head quickly regenerated. Dong! Xiaoping turned his hand into a blade. A silver blade light blasted over. It was extremely sharp and instantly cut off the killing cursed demon saint's hands. The cut was smooth and blood-splattered, but in just a breath's time, the hands grew out from the cut again. Countless flesh and blood tissues regenerated crazily. The origin energy from the depths of the void was transmitted to the killing cursed demon saint's body, making up for its lack of flesh and blood essence. Bang! Xiaoping kicked again with great force. It was like a divine elephant stepping on a planet. He kicked the killing cursed demon saint's body, producing a terrifying impact. Immediately, the killing cursed demon saint's body was torn apart and turned into a pile of meat paste. But in a few breaths' time, the pile of meat paste quickly wriggled and returned to its original state. Even the blood that splashed out seemed to have a life of its own and quickly flowed back into its original body. Haha! Foolish mortal, it's useless. Your attacks are useless. Just die. This is the gap between you and a sage. As a mortal, you will never be able to overcome this gap. The killing cursed demon saint was proud and extremely rampant. Every time Xiaoping attacked, he would smash the killing cursed demon saint's head, left hand, right leg, heart, and even any other part of its body. But it was useless. Within a few breaths' time, it would quickly regenerate. No magic attack could kill the killing cursed demon saint. It was also useless to smash its body. This was not a fatal injury of an immortal demon saint. As expected, ordinary methods can't kill an immortal demon saint. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He was unmoved by the killing cursed demon saint's provocation. He quietly waited for the reincarnation brush's seal to be unsealed. Buzz. At this moment, a mysterious energy came from the depths of the void and instantly poured into the reincarnation brush. Immediately, under the perception of Xiaoping's divine sense, there seemed to be 5 bronze doors in the depths of the reincarnation brush. Each one was larger than the other and was engraved with dense hell runes. At the same time, the surroundings of the bronze doors seemed to be sealed by one dark chain after another. They were tightly sealed, preventing any power from surging out from the depths of the door. He immediately knew that these 5 bronze doors represented the 5 seals of the reincarnation brush. Dong! In an instant, a tyrannical and mysterious energy fiercely bombarded the first bronze door, instantly tearing it apart. A huge hole was punched through it, and the black chains were broken one by one. Immediately after, Xiaoping sensed a terrifying energy gushing out from the depths of the bronze door, as well as a massive amount of information. It gushed into the depths of his sea of consciousness like a tidal wave, almost drowning everything. The first seal of the reincarnation brush has been temporarily lifted, and the first divine ability has been obtained: soul snatching. Description: any living being, even fiend gods, as long as they are locked on by the reincarnation brush, their souls will be seized. There's nowhere for them to escape. This is the authority of the god of the underworld. Xiaoping saw that the reincarnation brush seemed to be showing off its sharpness. The tip of the brush contained a black sharpness and emitted an invincible aura. At the same time, it also emitted waves of dim light. It was as if the souls of countless living beings would be drawn out with just a light touch. Host: the seal can only last for 100 breaths of time. If you miss this period of time, the seal will be restored again. Host: please pay attention to the usage time. The system's voice rang out. 100 breaths? That's completely enough. A cold light flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. In a battle of life and death between experts, 1 breath was usually enough. 100 breaths of time was more than enough. Mortal, what are you trying to do? All of a sudden, the killing cursed demon saint's hair stood on end. As an immortal saint, its 6th sense was strongly warning it that the human in front of it seemed to be planning to do something bad to it. It seemed to be a fatal danger. However, it dared not believe it and thought it was an illusion. It was an immortal demon saint with an undying body. No matter how powerful this mortal was, it was impossible for him to kill it. Boom! At that moment, Xiaoping made his move. He took out the reincarnation brush and channeled the spiritual power of his 9 purple mansions into it. The reincarnation brush was like a black hole, devouring all the spiritual power. Even though his spiritual power was comparable to that of an ordinary saint, it was extremely difficult for him to completely activate the reincarnation brush. He held the reincarnation brush in his hand and emitted a mysterious aura. He was like an underworld god that had descended from the depths of hell. He pointed at the killing cursed demon saint. Dong! In an instant, the killing cursed demon saint's entire body shattered, as if it had been completely destroyed by a terrifying power. Every cell in its body was being crushed. The surrounding void exploded, creating a crater that was thousands of kilometers wide. It almost pierced through the entire Qinghai realm. Its soul was also grabbed by this power and imprisoned in midair. Impossible! Aunt Mortal, what did you do to me? What did you do? The killing cursed demon saint could not help but scream in fear. It realized that its undying body had lost its effect. It seemed that its primordial spirit was imprisoned by a mysterious power and could not absorb the power of the universe's origin at all. As a result, it could not recover its original body. At that moment, it finally felt endless fear. It sensed that the mysterious brush contained a terrifying cold light that seemed to be able to tear apart everything in the world. What is this brush? What kind of treasure is it? Why can it destroy my undying body? What is it? The killing, cursed demon saint stared at the reincarnation brush. An indescribable fear surged from the depths of its heart. It felt like it was being stared at by the underworld god. You don't need to know that. Go to hell. The underworld king wants you to die at midnight. Who dares to stay until midnight? Xiaoping was expressionless. No, no, no. Spare me. Spare my life. The demon sage of the killing curse cried out in horror, trembling all over. If you don't kill me, I'm willing to be your slave, your dog. I have an extremely high status in the demon race. I have hundreds of millions of demon race soldiers under me, and experts are as common as the clouds. I have a large number of treasures in the demon race's sacred land. I have accumulated them for billions of years. I can give them all to you as long as you spare my dog life. Spare my dog life. It was extremely terrified. It felt that its life was in danger and begged Xiaoping for mercy. If someone saw this scene, they would definitely be scared out of their wits. This was an immortal demon saint. It had an undying body and was an overlord of the universe. Now, it was begging for mercy from a mortal in the lightning tribulation realm. It was willing to be a dog. This would definitely shock the universe. Chapter 2050. Noisy. Xiaoping was expressionless. The reincarnation brush in his hand lightly tapped the killing, cursed demon sage's soul. Mortal, you actually dare to kill me? After killing an immortal beast sage, the Fiend race will not let you off. There will be no place for you in the entire universe. I curse you. I curse you to die a horrible death. No, die a horrible death. The killing, cursed demon sage screamed. Sensing death approaching, it was extremely resentful. It seemed like it wanted to activate the curse again before dying and perish together with Xiaoping. However, Xiaoping would not give it such a chance. Dong! The killing, cursed demon sage's resentful voice stopped abruptly. Its entire soul was torn apart by the reincarnation brush and completely shattered. The void seemed to have been pierced through, and a dark hole appeared. Rays of sharpness erupted in the surroundings, constantly cutting through the space. Too strong. Xiaoping was incomparably shocked. This was the reincarnation brush that had unlocked the first layer of the seal. It had the ability to kill an immortal beast sage and steal its soul. Even an undying body would be useless. Moreover, it also possessed supreme sharpness that could easily cut through the void. Its attack power was several times stronger than before. However, the consumption of this reincarnation brush was too great. Even if his current magic power was boundless, he could not sustain a long battle. It's over. 100 breaths of time passed in the blink of an eye. Xiaoping discovered that the first bronze door of the reincarnation brush had actually repaired itself. Sealed chains reappeared one after another and sealed the door. The bronze door that originally had a huge hole also returned to its original state. Countless particles seemed to have reorganized and sealed the reincarnation brush's divine ability power again. He also sensed that the reincarnation brush's power had weakened by several times. What is this? Suddenly, Xiaoping discovered that after he destroyed the killing, cursed demon sage's true spirit, there seemed to be a mass of gray, mysterious substance left in the air. It contained a dense curse aura and emitted an inauspicious smell. Could this be the divine ability essence of the killing, cursed demon sage, containing the power of curse? Xiaoping's heart skipped a beat. It seemed that this ball of curse energy was indeed extraordinary. Even a reincarnation pen couldn't destroy it completely. Perhaps it was the most important substance in the body of the cursed demonic sage. He could sense that this mass of gray matter was of great benefit to his cultivation of the head nailing 7 arrows. If he could completely devour this mass of cursed energy, the power of the head nailing 7 arrows would be enhanced to an unimaginable level. With that thought in mind, he waved his hand and kept the gray matter. It's a pity that the reincarnation brush's power is too great. With just one strike, it destroyed most of the demon saint of Curse's soul. Not much soul energy was left. Xiaoping felt slightly regretful. If he could devour all of the curse-killing sage's soul essence, he would probably be able to immediately raise his cultivation to the pinnacle of the lightning tribulation. But now, he could only devour a little bit, which was better than nothing. Fortunately, the cursed sage's life-bound magic treasure, a mid-grade sacred artifact, the Curse Codex, was still there. Moreover, it was not too damaged. It was in perfect condition. At that moment, the artifact spirit of the Curse Codex did not seem to resist Xiaoping much. It had seen the scene of Xiaoping's battle just now and was completely subdued by Xiaoping. This was the nature of a demonic treasure. It was willing to submit to an expert who was stronger than it. "All right, you're mine." Xiaoping grabbed and immediately put the Curse Codex into the space of the Mountain River Pearl. He planned to sacrificial refine it later. Now is not the time to sacrificial refine this mid-grade sacred artifact. The cursed sage is dead? At that moment, Lu Rulan, who was hiding in the hall, sensed that the battle was finally over. She flew out and saw that the blood-mist forbidden land was in a state of devastation. There were ruins everywhere. However, she did not see the corpse of the cursed sage. It seemed to have disappeared. "Yes, it's dead. Its corpse has been reduced to ashes." Xiaoping nodded. "It's finally dead." Hearing that, Lu Rulan immediately heaved a sigh of relief. The immortal demon sage that had chased after her for an unknown period of time, her mortal enemy, was finally dead. These days, she felt as if she was sitting on pins and needles. After all, anyone who was targeted by an immortal demon sage would not be able to eat or sleep in peace. It was already a miracle that she did not go crazy. The problem was that Xiaoping was clearly only at the Thunder Tribulation realm. He was far away from the immortal demon sage. Yet, he could actually kill an immortal demon sage. This was simply unbelievable. The current Lu Rulan was no longer the newbie who stayed in the Blood Soul continent. She had experienced many trials and wandered the universe for many years. She naturally knew the difference between the immortal demon sage and the Thunder Tribulation realm. An ordinary Thunder Tribulation realm being able to survive in front of an immortal demon sage was already considered a monster. Those who could defeat an immortal demon sage were peerless monsters. However, Xiaoping could actually kill an immortal demon sage. He might have used some methods, but such a battle record was simply shocking and unimaginable. Oh no! Suddenly, Lu Rulan seemed to think of something. Her expression changed. "I remember that this killing cursed demon sage seems to have some background. It could be considered a faction of the demon race. It has the support of an ancient demon sage. Now that the killing cursed demon sage has died here, the demon race will definitely be furious. We can't stay in this Azure Sea realm anymore. If we continue, the demon race army will definitely come." She recalled that the killing cursed demon sage was not simple. It could be considered a high-level boss of the demon race. The death of such a big shot would definitely cause a huge commotion. The entire universe would be shaken, and the entire Azure Sea realm would become the target of public criticism. Staying here would also incur the wrath of the demon race. After all, the demon race was one of the peak races in the universe. There were countless demon sages and experts. It's indeed a little troublesome. Let's leave then. What else do you need to pack in this place? Xiaoping rubbed his chin. He also knew this, so he had long since wanted to leave. "I thought you would stay and fight them to the death. I didn't expect you to want to leave too. Could it be that you also know fear?" Lu Rulan looked at Xiaoping with a strange expression. "This is not running, but a strategic retreat. This retreat is for future attack." Xiaoping corrected. "Thick skin." Lu Rulan sneered. "No matter how thick it is, it's not as thick as your chest." Xiaoping said casually. "Pervert." Lu Rulan's face turned red. She angrily kicked him. However, Xiaoping grabbed Lu Rulan and lifted her up. Lu Rulan was so angry that she shouted and wanted to bite this bastard to death. Whoosh. However, Xiaoping did not plan to stay here. He took out the myriad stars and quickly left the Azure Sea realm. Chapter 2051, Demon Race Sacred Land in a Hall Somewhere. Many demon kings in Azure Sea Realm quickly returned to report the death of cursed demon sage. This matter alarmed the entire demon race and was known by countless demon sages. The leader of this group of demon sages was Howling Wolf Demon Sage. It was an ancient demon sage and emitted a terrifying aura like an abyss. It was as if it alone was comparable to all the demon sages present. It was unbelievably powerful. What happened? Why did the demon saint of the killing curse die in that remote world? What exactly happened? Who killed it? Tell me in detail, asked Howling Moon Demon Sage. It did not understand. Cursed Demon Sage was an immortal demon sage and was proficient in curses. It could seek fortune and avoid calamity. Ordinary sages could not kill it. But now, the demon saint of the killing curse had fallen. This was simply unimaginable. It could not understand it all. The other demon sages thought the same. Howling Moon Demon Sage. That place was one of the strongholds built by Blood Soul Sage. Master found this world and was overjoyed. He thought he could obtain Blood Soul Sage's inheritance and improve, said a demon king. It was originally cursed demon sage's subordinate. This information should be top secret and could not be leaked. But now that cursed demon sage was dead, it was not a big deal even if it was leaked. Blood Soul Sage's inheritance. The demon sages nodded. If it was the famous Blood Soul Sage, cursed demon sage's actions were not hard to understand. After all, Blood Soul Sage's inheritance was no small matter. Once it was obtained, cursed demon sage's strength would definitely improve by leaps and bounds. It was no wonder it kept this information secret for countless years. If it was them, they would do the same thing. Unfortunately, Master wanted to explore this world's secrets and did not find anything. But recently, the person who obtained Blood Soul Sage's inheritance appeared. It was a soul ray saintess. The Demon King said, Master was overjoyed and immediately wanted to capture this soul ray saintess. If he captured her, it would be equivalent to obtaining Blood Soul Sage's inheritance. But he never expected that the soul ray saintess had a backup plan. She immediately escaped Master's pursuit and was teleported to the forbidden area built by Blood Soul Sage. Even Master did not dare to enter. The worst thing was that the saintess had a human gigolo with her. I don't know why that guy also entered Azure Sea Realm and fought with Master. Human? Could it be the human race's saint? Was that guy the one who killed the demon sage? Demon Sage Xiao Lang frowned. Dear Bee Saints, that is indeed a human. However, he is not a saint of the human race. He is merely a mortal in the Tribulation Realm. The Beast King revealed a bitter smile. Impossible. Hearing this, a demonic beast sage immediately jumped up. A mere mortal in the Thunder Tribulation Realm wants to kill an immortal demonic beast sage? What kind of joke is this? Even in my dreams, such an absurd thing has never happened. You actually dare to lie in front of a demonic beast sage? Do you want to die? It did not believe the words of this demon king at all. No matter how powerful a mere mortal in the Thunder Retribution Realm was, it was impossible for him to kill a demon saint. This was too ridiculous. The other demonic sages also nodded, feeling that it was absurd to the extreme. They had never heard of such a thing. It's true. I swear that everything I said is true. If there is even half a lie, may the heavens strike me with lightning. The demon king swore to the heavens that everything he said was true. Moreover, that humans' aura and traces were left in Azure Sea Realm. He even took the initiative to leave a message. It was written that the demon killer, human race's invincible Wu, bastard, he actually dared to leave a message saying that he killed the demon sage. He is simply too audacious. He is too arrogant. A demon sage roared angrily. It had never seen such an arrogant human. Killing a demon sage was a serious crime. The demon sage would chase after him everywhere. It would be useless to hide in any corner of the universe. If an ordinary person did such a thing, they would have long gone into hiding, afraid that their identity would be exposed. However, this human was so arrogant that he dared to leave a message at the scene of the crime, saying that he was the one who did it. This was already boundless arrogance. He did not take the demon race seriously at all. Was he not worried that the demon race would be able to kill this human? He deserves to die. Another demonic saint jumped out in anger. Capture this human immediately and tear him to pieces. Killing a demonic saint of our race is a serious crime. Even killing 9 generations of his clan wouldn't be enough to appease the hatred in his heart. It was so angry that it wanted to capture that human and skin him alive. Human race's invincible Wu? Why do I feel like I've heard this name somewhere? Some demon sages were confused. They seem to have heard this name somewhere before. Indeed, I've heard this name too. Of course I've heard of him. Recently, this kid stole the origin energy of a large, newly born world, causing us demons to suffer greatly. He killed many of our demon kings, and even stole a medium-quality saint artifact from them. I remember now. This brat has indeed committed many crimes, and committed crimes everywhere. Even the human race is after him. Now, this bastard actually dared to provoke our demon race. He even dared to kill a demon sage. Impossible. That is indeed a lightning tribulation, realm mortal. How could he kill a demon sage? Nothing is impossible. According to the intelligence, that mortal has Gaia beside him. It is said that he obtained the origin of a large-scale world. He might have advanced to the immortal realm by now. With Gaia's power and some other arrangements, or even Blood Soul Sage's backup plan, it is not impossible to kill a demon sage. In that case, this matter is very likely done by that Wuwudi. It is that human who committed the crime. Most likely, that human is very arrogant. There is nothing he does not dare to do. Countless people in the human race seem to hate him to the bone. Many demon sages discussed among themselves. They suddenly realized that they had indeed heard of this human Wuwudi's name before. This guy had caused a lot of trouble for their demon race. He had long become the demon race's enemy. Issue a wanted order. Hunt down and kill human race's Wuwudi in the entire universe. Shaolang Demon Sage said, "Whoever can find a trace of human race's Wuwudi or take his head, regardless of race, will be rewarded immediately. He will be an honored guest of our demon race." Yes, many demon sages nodded. They immediately passed down this order. The wanted order was spread across the entire universe, to every place the demon race could reach. Chapter 2052. A few days later, in the space of the mountain river Pearl. Is this the power of the curse? It's amazing. Xia Ping devoured the gray substance he got from the demon saint of killing curse and immediately obtained a large amount of curse power. This pure energy was integrated into the head-piercing 7 arrows art. Immediately, he found that the head-piercing 7 arrows art had a wonderful change. It seemed to be able to communicate with the ghosts and gods in the sky and hell to curse and attack the enemy. Moreover, this power came and went without a trace. There was no trace at all. Ordinary cultivators had no idea where the attack came from. Dong! Xiaoping used the head-piercing 7 arrows art. The void shook, and a wave of netherworld power came from the depths of the dimension. It quickly condensed into a black talisman. This talisman was called the Curse Talisman. It showed the mark of a skull, as if countless resentful spirits had gathered in the depths of the skull. It emitted an ominous and evil aura. If this talisman was used on the enemy, it would immediately cause the enemy's soul to fall into a state of mental disorder. It would trigger the enemy's inner demons and cause the enemy to fall into a state of hallucination. If the power of the curse was stronger, it would directly deprive the enemy of the luck. In other words, even the destined child who could pick up treasures when he went out, who could find a master when he fell off a cliff, who could bump into a beautiful woman when he fell, would immediately have bad luck after being cursed. All fortuitous encounters would become bad omens. For example, he would be robbed when he went out, fall off a cliff and die, or his wife would be cuckolded by his neighbor. He would become the most unlucky person in the world. Of course, there's still a long way to go to cultivate the curse magic to the level of robbing the enemy's luck. However, this was just an ordinary curse magic. The head-piercing 7 arrows art was completely different. It did not rob the enemy's luck. Instead, it used the power of the curse to lock on the enemy's spirit. Then, all the power of the curse would condense into one and instantly penetrate the enemy's spirit. Then it would explode and kill the enemy instantly, detonating all the curse energy. Therefore, this was a killing technique through and through. It was a secret technique that existed specifically to kill the enemy. To some extent, the head-piercing 7 arrows art was even more evil and terrifying. It seems that the attack range is also very far. Xiaoping's heart moved. He grabbed with his big hand, and the huge power of the curse quickly condensed into a black dagger. It was covered with dense curse runes, as if it was entangled by evil spirits. Xiao! He casually threw it, and the black dagger instantly turned into a stream of air. It disappeared into the void, shuttling through the void. In an instant, it had traveled hundreds of millions of kilometers and appeared in another space. Dong! The black dagger struck a large mountain, and a terrifying power exploded out, instantly shattering the mountain and turning all of the rocks into powder. At the same time, the sinister and dark curse energy corroded every single rock, dyeing the entire place black. An aura of sin spread out everywhere, making it seem as if they were in hell. Amazing! Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. If he could find a trace of the enemy's aura, he would be able to condense the head-piercing 7 arrows art. Even if the enemy was hundreds of millions of kilometers away, even if the enemy was surrounded by layers of restrictions, it would still be useless. Once it was activated, it would arrive at the enemy's primordial spirit soundlessly, ignoring distance and defense. It would not stop until the primordial spirit was destroyed. It could be said that this was an extremely powerful assassination technique. Once targeted by the head-piercing 7 arrows technique, there was absolutely no chance of survival. Even the legendary Shao Li flying dagger, which never misses, can't be better than this. Xiaoping was very satisfied. He felt that the power of the head-piercing 7 arrows art was beyond his imagination. This would definitely become an extremely powerful trump card for him. Curse Codex. Xiaoping looked at the mid-grade sacred artifact that he had obtained from the Demon Saint of Curses. In the past few days, he had completely refined this mid-grade sacred artifact and made it his own. He had also learned some of the abilities of the Curse Codex. It recorded the curse secret arts that the Demon Saint of Curses had accumulated over the years. It could be used to cast a curse that would weaken the enemy's soul and cause them to go berserk. It could be said that the Curse Codex was a comprehensive collection of curses. It was an extremely dangerous and terrifying magic treasure. Huh? The heavenly tribulation is coming? Suddenly, Xiaoping looked up. His soul had a series of warning signs. It seemed that there were wisps of lightning tribulation aura coming from the depths of the void, covering a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers. Moreover, the energy of the lightning tribulation would descend at any time. It's ahead of schedule. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He had originally estimated that the lightning tribulation would happen in at least 3 months. He did not expect it to come so soon. Perhaps it was because he had devoured a part of the Demon Saint of Curse's soul energy that greatly increased his cultivation base and stimulated the speed of the lightning tribulation. That was why the lightning tribulation was brought forward by so much. I must find a safe place to undergo the lightning tribulation. Xiaoping thought about it. It was a little troublesome to undergo the lightning tribulation in the Central Universe. Many worlds had owners and could not be easily landed. However, it was also very difficult to find a world without an owner. However, it was also impossible to undergo the lightning tribulation in the void. There were spatial storms everywhere. Once they appeared, they would be torn apart before the lightning tribulation even arrived. That's right, I can return to planet Yanhuang. Xiaoping suddenly remembered that he could go through the wormhole in the Gaia space that was unique to the Cloud Continent. That wormhole was connected to planet Yanhuang, so he could easily return. Moreover, the star field near planet Yanhuang was extremely vast and did not have any living beings. It was a very good place to undergo the lightning tribulation. Whoosh! With that thought in mind, he immediately entered the Gaia space and went through the wormhole to return to planet Yanhuang. He could be considered to have returned to the northern universe. As soon as he returned to the star field on planet Yanhuang, A tribulation cloud immediately filled the sky above Xiaoping's head. It was vast and boundless. When he used his divine consciousness to sense it, it was at least 1 billion kilometers in diameter. Black tribulation clouds surged out from the depths of the void like rolling waves. A huge tribulation energy was transmitted from the depths of the universe's origin. It was as if the tribulation cloud had enveloped every planet in this star field. Even the sun could not emit a single ray of light in this black tribulation cloud. At this moment, this star field seemed to have become a dark star field. There was no light at all. If a thunder tribulation almighty was here, he would definitely be shocked. This was not the lightning tribulation that a cultivator at the early stage of the thunder tribulation should undergo. Even the lightning tribulation that one had to undergo to advance to the saint stage was nothing more than this. The power of this tribulation cloud was just too terrifying. A little aura that leaked out could destroy a person's soul. Chapter 2053. What's this? Xiaoping stood in the void with his hands behind his back. He looked at the tribulation cloud in the depths of the void with a glimmer of light in his eyes. He sensed that this tribulation cloud was different from before. Bolts of lightning were brewing in the depths of the tribulation cloud and actually condensed into balls of lightning liquid. There seemed to be countless drops of such lightning liquid condensed in the depths of the huge tribulation cloud and would descend at any time. Master, be careful. This is the famous sunflower water tribulation lightning. The green ox's expression changed when it saw this scene. It immediately recognized that this was the famous sunflower water tribulation lightning. Sunflower water tribulation lightning? What's this? Xiaoping asked curiously. The so-called sunflower water tribulation lightning is one of the mutated thunders. It is like water and lightning and is the combination of sunflower water and lightning tribulation. It has 2 attributes. The green ox explained. Once it descends, not only does it have the terrifying destructive power of lightning, but it also has the drowning power of mutated water and impact power. The universe's origin probably sensed that Master's body contains a powerful flame power. In order to target Master, it descended the sunflower water tribulation lightning this time. Its goal is to weaken the flame power in Master's body to the greatest extent. There's such a thing. Xiaoping rubbed his chin. He did not expect that he would be targeted by the universe's origin. Did he eat its rice? Why did it look like it had a grudge against him? Master, be careful. The power of this sunflower water tribulation lightning is probably several times more terrifying than ordinary tribulation lightning. The lightning tribulation of an ordinary peak lightning tribulation realm to ascend to a sage is nothing more than this. The green ox said helplessly. Ordinary cultivators usually reached the peak lightning tribulation realm and were about to ascend to the sage realm before they could encounter such a level of lightning tribulation. However, Xiaoping was only at the initial stage lightning tribulation realm, and he actually encountered the sunflower water tribulation lightning. If every lightning tribulation realm cultivator encountered such a level of lightning tribulation, there would probably not be many sages in this universe. It could only be said that its master was really hated by the heavens. He was too monstrous and could not be tolerated by the universe. However, after thinking about it carefully, it was also very reasonable. After all, its master could now contend with an immortal demon sage. Previously, the demon sage of Curse only had the upper hand because of its immortal body. Such strength was really beyond imagination. It had lived for so many years, but it had only seen such a monstrous talent like its master. Rumble, at this time, the lightning tribulation finally began. In the depths of the void, a huge tribulation cloud surged. Drops of lightning liquid fell from the void, like a violent storm, pouring down on Xiaoping's body. Crash! Tens of thousands of raindrops. No, that's not right. There were at least hundreds of millions, or even billions of raindrops dripped down from the depths of the tribulation cloud, turning into a torrential downpour that drowned everything. Moreover, these were no ordinary raindrops. They were condensed from lightning liquid and contained the power of tribulation lightning. Dong! A drop of liquid lightning landed on a desolate planet, instantly piercing through the entire planet and causing it to explode. The terrifying power of lightning wreaked havoc everywhere, blasting the entire planet into pieces. One could imagine just how terrifying this drop of liquid thunder was. Dark North Body Protection Technique. Xiaoping moved his mind and immediately ran the Dark North Body Protecting skill. A Kuan Peng appeared on his body, and an azure blue energy shield appeared. With his body as the center, thousands of kilometers around him turned into a blue sea. Countless Kuan Peng symbols appeared in the depths of this ocean. They interweaved together, forming a giant weak point. Dong dong dong. In an instant, countless drops of lightning liquid fell from the depths of the tribulation cloud and bombarded the energy shield. Like rain hitting the leaves of the lute, there was a crackling sound. At the same time, the tribulation lightning in the depths of the thunder liquid erupted, turning into thunder snakes, thunder dragons, and thunderbirds, producing a terrifying penetrating power, trying to tear this energy shield into pieces. But Dark North Body Protection Technique is running, the sea is shaking, the waves are rolling, and the thunder tribulation energy is easily swallowed up, leaving nothing behind. The power doesn't seem to be very good. Xiaoping blinked his eyes, and the devouring power was generated in his body, completely devouring the energy of the thunder tribulation and turning it into his own use. In the depths of his body, a pure thunder essence swam around. Both his magic power and mental power were rising steadily, and this move seemed to have angered the origin of the universe even more. Crash! In the depths of the tribulation cloud, countless drops of lightning liquid bombarded down, and hundreds of drops of lightning liquid condensed into a ball, turning into a ball of lightning, like hail, smashing down wildly. Damn, I said a few words and you're angry. Xiaoping sensed that the power of the thunder tribulation was more violent and crazy. The power of these thunderballs had the power to threaten his life. The penetrating power generated was invincible. Even the Dark North Body Protection Technique couldn't resist it. Hundreds of millions of thunderballs fell down, and I am afraid that the energy shield on his body would be smashed into pieces. Laws of heaven and earth. At this time, Xiaoping ran the spiritual power in his body and quickly condensed the 9 great laws of heaven and earth on his body. First, a world tree was born from this world. It stood tall and seemed to be rooted in the depths of the universe. Thousands of emerald green branches extended out as if holding up a world. On the world tree, the other 8 great laws of heaven and earth were also born. Kuan Nyo, Hell Golden Crow, Sky Dragon, Divine Elephant Star, Thousand-Armed Buddha, Thousand-Eyed Demon, and Tao Tai. Each of the laws of heaven and earth represents the extreme of a kind of power. Like the resurrection of a divine beast, they blasted from all directions, fighting against these thunderballs. Bang, bang, bang. In an instant, there was a series of earth-shattering explosions. In the void, countless thunderballs were smashed and suddenly turned into a mass of pure thunder essence, floating in the depths of the void. Damn heaven, is that all you have? Xiaoping was calm and composed. In the depths of the void, the tribulation clouds were tumbling. They seemed to be completely angered by Xiaoping's attitude. Countless thunder liquid quickly condensed together, but this time it was not condensed into thunderballs. Instead, countless drops of thunder liquid quickly condensed and actually turned into a thunder river. Each thunder river spanned thousands of kilometers like a thunder dragon. In the depths of the river, countless thunder vibrated and crackled, containing the terrifying power of destruction. Rumble, at this time, thousands of thunder rivers bombarded from the void and instantly drowned Xiaoping's body. At the same time, the thunder inside the river exploded wildly, trying to blast Xiaoping's body into pieces. It's not that easy to kill me. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Not to be outdone, he ran the 9 great Zifu spaces in his body, and a huge amount of spiritual power was instilled into the 9 great laws of heaven and earth. In an instant, the world tree shook and one branch after another shot out, piercing through the void. At the same time, the countless roots on its body waved, producing a terrifying, devouring power and absorbing the thunder. Chapter 2054. This time, the tribulation lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. In the depths of the void, the boundless tribulation clouds finally thinned a lot. It seemed that the tribulation lightning was still a little unwilling, but after venting for 3 days and 3 nights, it finally exhausted all of its energy. No matter how unwilling it was, it could only slowly dissipate. Countless tribulation clouds merged into the depths of the void, and this star field finally returned to its previous peace. However, this star field was severely damaged by the water tribulation lightning. Thousands of planets were blown into pieces, turning into dust that filled the surrounding void. The surrounding void was also pierced, and a huge black hole appeared. God knows how many space passages were connected, and this place was riddled with holes. Moreover, it was filled with a strong aura of tribulation lightning. From time to time, there would still be lightning flashes and crackling sounds. It was as if this place had turned into a space of lightning hell. Fortunately, there were no living creatures in this star field. Otherwise, God knows how many people would have died. I finally blocked it. Xiaoping took a deep breath, and a glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. Although his body was in tatters, and his clothes were electrocuted, and his whole body was charred black like an African, he was full of energy, and he felt better than ever. After withstanding the water tribulation lightning, he also devoured a huge amount of tribulation lightning energy, raising his magic power and divine sense to a new realm. This simply save him God knows how many years of effort to condense magic power. It could be said that the tribulation lightning was not only a tribulation, but also a huge cultivation opportunity. Mid-stage tribulation realm. Xiaoping clenched his fists and felt the surging energy that was constantly surging out of his body. After overcoming this lightning tribulation, he had naturally advanced to the intermediate stage of the lightning tribulation realm. This is the power of the mid-stage tribulation realm. Xiaoping sensed that the 9 purple mansion spaces in his body were twice as large as before, and they could accommodate more magic power. At the same time, the power of his divine sense was also much stronger. Now, his power was so strong that it made people's hair stand on end. It was as if there were divine beasts in his body. If they were to explode with full force, it would be earth-shattering. Dong! Suddenly, he grabbed the void, and infinite magic power vibrated, turning into a tide, forming a big hand. In the distance, a huge planet was trembling. It was instantly grabbed by this huge hand, like a giant pinching a rubber ball. Just like that, it was grabbed over. He had already completely treated these planets as ordinary glass balls that he could pinch at will. Grab the stars and grab the moon. Xiaoping's emotions surged. There was once a time when he could only dream of grasping the stars and grabbing the moon. But today, he had finally reached such a supreme realm. In his hands, an ordinary planet was nothing more than a toy. With a slight punch, he could easily blast a planet into pieces and turn it into a ball of debris. The infernal golden crow cells have also awakened. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. After obtaining the thunder essence, not only did his magic power and cultivation base improve, but he had also awakened 250 million golden crow cells in his body. Right now, he had awakened a total of 800 million cells. He felt that the blood in his body was boiling and quickly turning into dark golden blood. Dense golden crow runes appeared on the surface of his blood, and wisps of flames darted out of his pores from time to time. It was as if he had become a flaming creature. It could be said that he had gained too many benefits this time. I still need to awaken 200 million infernal golden crow cells, and then I can completely awaken 1 billion. At that time, I can awaken a bloodline magic power. Xiaoping clenched his fists, looking forward to it. Once he awakened 1 billion infernal golden crow cells, his strength would undergo a tremendous change. Beep beep. At this time, the system's voice was heard. Congratulations to the host. This time, You killed the curse-killing demon saint, which aroused the hatred of many demon race powerhouses. This time, you received a total of 70 hatred crystals. I hope you can continue to work hard. 70 hatred crystals? Xiaoping smiled slightly. He didn't expect that this time there would be double happiness. He had just passed the heavenly tribulation, and now there was such good news. It seemed that the news of him killing the curse-killing demon saint had indeed spread. Moreover, killing the curse-killing demon saint had also aroused a lot of hatred. Although he had spent 50 hatred crystals to kill the curse-killing demon saint, he had now received 70 hatred crystals. In this way, he still earned 20 hatred crystals, which was not a loss. So far, the total number of hatred crystals on him had reached 620. By the way, system, do you know how to unlock the first seal of the reincarnation brush? Xiaoping asked. He felt that he might face more and more powerful enemies in the future, among which there were many powerhouses with immortal bodies. With his current means, it would be very difficult to kill these enemies with immortal bodies. After all, it was easy to defeat them, but very difficult to kill them. Therefore, it was necessary to unlock the first seal of the reincarnation brush. As long as he could have the power of the reincarnation brush's first magical ability, perhaps the immortal sages would not dare to be arrogant in front of him. Soul requires a lot of soul energy. The system replied. How much soul energy is needed? Xiaoping asked. The system said, you need to kill the soul energy of 10 million Thunder Calamity Peak cultivators. 10 million. Hearing this, the corner of Xiaoping's mouth twitched. This was simply impossible, because even if 10 million Thunder Calamity Peak cultivators stood in front of him, it would be difficult to kill them all. Moreover, it was also difficult to find 10 million such cultivators. Even if he found them, they would definitely be the elites of their race, with the protection of sages behind them. It was impossible to find an opportunity to attack them. Once they attacked, they would definitely be killed by the enraged sages. No, I can't attack an ordinary cosmos, but if I go to the Abyss World or the Hell World, it is not impossible to kill those demons and nether ghosts. Xiaoping's heart thumped. He recalled the Abyss World and the Hell World he had seen before. The number of demons and nether ghosts in those two places was unimaginable. Moreover, the soul energy they possessed was much stronger than ordinary cultivators. If he went to those two worlds to collect soul energy, it might not be impossible. By the way, Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. Previously, I accidentally entered the Azure Sun secret realm in Southern Cosmos. That secret realm seemed to be connected to the Hell World. Countless demons and nether ghosts came out from there. It has been several years. I wonder what that Azure Sun secret realm has become. Perhaps they have already found a secret passage to the Hell World. He could sense that if his infernal Golden Crow bloodline wanted to evolve further, he would probably have to go to the Hell World. Similarly, unlocking the reincarnation brush also required going to the Hell World. Chapter 2055. In the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River. While Xiaoping was going through his tribulation, Lu Rulon had been cultivating in the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River. At the same time, she had a certain level of understanding of this place. So rich. This was Lu Rulon's first impression of the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River. In this space, spiritual medicine and spiritual grains were as numerous as the clouds. There was no end to them. With a single glance, she could see the vast medicinal fields and farmlands that stretched for thousands of miles. Moreover, these weren't ordinary spiritual grains. They were crystal rice, golden corn, and other top-grade spiritual grains. These spiritual grains were considered rare resources in the entire universe. However, in this space, there were hundreds of millions of square kilometers planted. There was no way to finish them. He was a rich man, a local tycoon. She didn't know how much spiritual rice she had eaten these days. It made her feel a little guilty. God knew how much money she had eaten these days. It was to the extent that she felt pained. If the outside world saw her wasting spiritual rice like this, they would probably vomit blood in anger. But I've gained many benefits. Lu Rulon had to admit that her cultivation base had improved by leaps and bounds because she had been wasting the spiritual rice. Her magical power had improved by leaps and bounds, which was equivalent to saving hundreds of years of effort in condensing her magical power. Moreover, these spiritual rice could temper her body, making her chi and blood boil, increasing her body's potential. It was no wonder that those big families always had many geniuses. In reality, without resources, no matter how monstrous a person was, it would be difficult for them to grow. However, even an ordinary person could reach genius level by consuming spiritual rice and spiritual medicine every day. That was the difference in wealth. There are many spiritual medicines planted here too. Lu Rulon looked at the other places. There were medicinal fields planted all around her. There was a dazzling array of medicinal fields planted one after another. They were densely packed. The spiritual energy was dense, and the medicinal energy was boiling. Thick clouds condensed in midair. Ordinary people who stayed here and breathed in the medicinal energy could prolong their lives. There were no disasters or illnesses. In this place, 1,000-year-old spiritual medicines were considered normal resources. Only 10,000-year-old and 100,000-year-old spiritual medicines were considered precious. Only holy medicines were considered top-notch medicinal materials. Even the ones guarding the medicinal fields were primordial descendants, and every one of them had reached the lightning tribulation realm. She was simply dumbfounded. She had never heard of any primordial descendants willing to work for humans, let alone as farmers. Just the wealth that she could see with her naked eyes was probably comparable to that of a saint-level sect. However, saint-rank sects had accumulated wealth for who knows how many years. As for Xiaoping, no matter how one looked at it, he had only lived for a few decades. It was completely incomparable to a saint-rank sect with a long history. However, their current wealth was comparable to that of an ordinary saint-class sect. This was simply too exaggerated. However, what infuriated Lu Rulon was that the people taking care of the herb fields and the farmlands were young ladies from different clans. They were all extremely beautiful. It was said that they were all slave girls that had been captured by slave merchants, but Xiaoping had saved them and let them stay in a mountain river pearl to manage the medicinal field. Although they looked like maidservants now, according to this shameless bastard's personality, he might have wanted them to be concubines and have a harem of 3,000 beauties. When she thought of Xiaoping having sex every night, being served by countless beautiful maidservants, and living a life of debauchery, she was a little annoyed. She wanted to cut that harmful thing off. Is the tribulation over? At that moment, Lu Rulon's heart skipped a beat. She activated her telepathy skill and immediately sensed Xiaoping's current situation. It seemed that he had finally passed the tribulation and was currently returning to the mountain river pearl. Whoosh! As expected, Xiaoping's figure flashed in the next second, and he immediately appeared before Lu Rulon. Seems like the tribulation this time was successful. Seeing that Xiaoping had returned safely, Lu Rulon immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Although she was very confident that Xiaoping would pass the tribulation, this was the tribulation after all. It was a tribulation that cultivators were most afraid of. Who knew what would happen? It was hard to say before it was over. Therefore, seeing that Xiaoping was safe and sound, she was finally relieved. Of course. Don't you know who I am? Xiaoping said proudly. He looked at Lu Rulon and seemed to notice something. Why? You look like you have something on your mind. Could it be that you have something to tell me? That's right. Lu Rulon nodded. Now that she had a substantial relationship with Xiaoping, there was nothing to hide. I'm going to continue receiving the Blood Soul Saint's inheritance later. I'm afraid I can't stay here for long. She indicated that she would be leaving for a while to continue receiving the Blood Soul Saint's completed inheritance. The inheritance in Qinghai world was just one of the bases. In reality, the Blood Soul Saint had too many secret bases in the universe. They were all backup plans that he had left behind. I see. That's all right. Xiaoping was very calm. After all, he had already exchanged communication numbers with Lu Rulon. As long as the virtual network could reach a place, they could contact each other. There was no need to worry about losing contact like last time. If there were any problems, they could contact each other anytime. Where are you going? Do you need me to give you a ride? Xiaoping asked. No need. I have the Blood Soul Saint's imprint on me. As long as I activate the imprint, I can be transported to any Hall of Souls in the universe. Lu Rulon waved her hand. It was because of the Blood Soul Saint's imprint that she was able to escape from the killing cursed demon saint. Of course, this did not mean that she could escape anytime and anywhere. After all, activating the imprint required a certain amount of time. The killing cursed demon saint was unprepared last time, allowing Lu Rulon to find a loophole and escape in time. If the killing cursed demon saint was prepared, it would not be easy for her to escape. Remember, don't fool around. Otherwise, I won't let you go. Lu Rulon glared at Xia Ping with her beautiful eyes. Is that so? Why do I remember you begging me to let you go a few days ago? Xia Ping said with a smile. Pervert, gangster, shameless. Hearing this, Lu Rulon blushed and her body went numb. She was so angry that she stomped on Xia Ping's foot, feeling extremely embarrassed. She activated the imprint on her body. With a boom, a wave of energy enveloped her body and blended into the void. In the next second, she disappeared on the spot. No one knew where she was transported to. Little Dumbo is awake. At this moment, not long after Lu Rulon left, Xia Ping's heart skipped a beat. He sensed that little Dumbo, who was in a deep sleep, had finally digested the energy in its body and awakened.